The main character was refused again. How could it be? He successfully passed the interview. But the employer claims that this does not mean anything, and he refused the guy simply because this position was already filled. The employees of this company mock the main character. Because he is not rich and is easily intimidated, the guy will never achieve his goals. The hero is upset because he wasted his time on this interview. Tom is angry at the company that did not accept him and wishes it to go bankrupt as soon as possible. Suddenly, someone pushes the guy and he falls. This makes Tom even more angry. The blonde guy, who was in the company of a beautiful girl, deliberately pushed Tom. It seemed they had known each other before. Tom recognizes the girl next to the guy and calls her by name. Sean asks Rebecca if Tom is her boyfriend, which really hurts the girl, because they are no longer in a relationship. The girl explains that Tom is poor and cannot be her boyfriend. Unlike Sean, who is rich and attractive, she feels hot next to him. The couple begins to coo, not noticing Tom's presence next to them. The main character is humiliated and insulted by the fact that he was used. Finally, Sean tells Tom that he was the one who took the guy's job. He continues to mock the main character, mentioning that he took away not only his job, but also his girlfriend, and Tom can't do anything about it. But the main character does not agree with the guy's statement that he can't do anything. Tom swings his arms and hits Sean. The main character continues to beat the guy, already being on top of him. Rebecca is scared and does not know what to do in such a situation. And her boyfriend, who is being beaten, asks to call someone for help. The girl runs away in fear, claiming that Tom will regret his actions, and she calls security. The main character can't control his anger and yells at Sean that he's just a boy with a trust fund. Someday Tom will be rich too. The guy is sure that he will also have a lot of money, so that it doesn't cost him. A system window pops up in front of Tom's eyes, asking whether Tom is really willing to do anything for wealth. This proposal was very sudden. The notification from the system stuns the guy. Tom is frightened by the sudden message and asks who it is. But the system requires an answer to the question posed. The system repeats its question, but Tom still does not believe in the reality of what is happening. However, in the end, the guy accepts the system's offer. The system accepts the choice of the main character, processing the data. Words begin to flash in front of the main character. Finally, the words form a sentence. Tom learns that a certain Mr. Edgar, who is the second most influential shareholder of the company, announced his wish that he was going to transfer all his shares to a guy named Tom, after which Edgar died. The guy's face was distorted in shock and lack of understanding of what was happening. He definitely did not expect such a statement. The girl returns to the scene of the fight along with the guards, pointing to Tom as the intruder who crippled her boyfriend. The guard gets angry at the guy, calling him a reckless brat who has no right to behave like that. 3 guards surrounded Tom and began to mock him, coming up with a variety of punishments that could be applied to the guy while Rebecca took care of her boyfriend. Tom makes excuses, claiming that he is one of the most influential shareholders of the company. Sean and Rebecca laugh at the main character's ridiculous invention. Sean argues that if Tom is a shareholder, then he is the CEO. The guards join in the joke on the guy, calling themselves directors and chairmen. Sean's patience runs out, and he orders the staff to teach Tom a lesson for his lies and impudence. One of the guards begins to approach the guy, threatening him with his fists, and Tom thinks that he was in vain to fall for the system's trick, because only cheese in a mousetrap is free. Suddenly, a loud order is heard prohibiting any actions towards the main character. The voice very frightens the guard who wanted to beat Tom. His hand is intercepted, preventing him from striking Tom. A menacing man in dark glasses and a suit appears behind the guard. He seems to be higher in position than the guard. Tom does not understand what is happening and why they stood up for him. The menacing man launches the guard far into the sky with one blow, causing his assistants to worry and fear. The main character admires the strength of his savior, calling him a superhero. 3 more men in the same glasses and suits suddenly appear in front of the guy. They greet Tom, bowing as a sign of deep respect for the guy. A man with a thin mustache also appeared, calling himself Tom's lawyer. The man has one more thing to do with the main character, which was asked by Edgar, a former shareholder of the company whose place was taken by Tom. The lawyer gives the guy an agreement on the transfer of shares and asks him to read it. Tom certainly did not expect that the system's proposal would turn out to be true, and he would become the new major shareholder of such a rich and influential company. Sean is with the girl, and the guards next to them also did not expect that the guy could not joke and really be influential. The main character, trying to be completely calm, takes the contract and begins to sign it, at the same time asking how many shares he will receive. The lawyer also calmly reports that Tom will receive at least 100 million shares. The guy, maintaining a mask of equanimity, gives the signed contract to the lawyer. However, inside Tom is simply beside himself with joy from such luck. The dream of becoming rich has finally come true, and he is happy. The main character, with a devilish smile, asks who the lucky guy is who wanted to teach him a lesson. The guards, who had not so long ago mocked Tom, froze in horror, afraid of future retribution for what they had done. 3 security guards point at Sean at once, claiming that it was he who was involved in the bullying of the guy. Sean did not expect that all the blame would be placed on him, and his girlfriend ran away, not wanting to take on any responsibility. Tom orders Sean to be stripped and hanged on the fence, and the guards obediently begin to carry out this order, heading towards the protagonist's offender. The guy is afraid of what the guards want to do to him. The three men leaned over Sean angrily, carrying out their task from the protagonist. The guards quickly attack the guy, beating him and stripping him. Sean collapses in defeat. It looks like he got what he deserved. Tom is happy that his offender was punished and is now lying unconscious. Suddenly there is a noise at the door. The employer, who had previously refused the guy a job, citing the fact that his place had already been taken, when he saw Tom again, demands that he immediately leave the building. Formidable men instantly stood up for the guy. They threaten the employer with just a glance without giving their new boss offense. The lawyer tells the man that the man he is driving away is one of the largest shareholders of this company. Tom is one of the most influential people, and such behavior from him is simply unacceptable. The man, hearing that the main character is the second shareholder of the company, froze in horror, imagining what awaits him for such an attitude towards the guy. Tom believes that he has the right to fire employees and asks his lawyer about this, to which he receives a positive answer. As an example of Tom's capabilities, the lawyer cites an employer whom the protagonist can easily fire. Tom calmly decides to fire the man who treated him so disrespectfully. The employer, hearing about his dismissal, was very scared. The man falls to his knees, begging the protagonist not to fire him. However, Tom is completely unshakable. He orders the man who recently saved him to be thrown out of the building by his employer. One click of the fingers is enough for the protagonist's orders to be carried out. The man dispatches the fired employee with one blow, sending him flying into the sky away from Tom. The man lands hard right next to the guard, who is also launched into the sky. Rebecca, who ran away from possible punishment in fear, sees the main character again. The girl quickly runs up to the guy, hugging his hand, making a sad expression on her face. She claims that she was just possessed and was not responsible for her actions. Rebecca says that Sean was completely unreliable and was not even close to Tom. She asks the hero to start dating her again. Tom was skeptical of the girl's proposal, rolling his eyes rather than look at her. Rebecca, pressing his hand to her face, admits that she has always loved Tom. However, the main character is not at all moved by her confession, and he throws the girl away from him, claiming that he does not like girls of easy virtue. Sean, seeing his girlfriend's betrayal, shouts to Tom not to be arrogant, and that money doesn't solve everything in life. However, the main character does not agree with this statement, saying that money really decides a lot and gives permissiveness. Tom asks his guard if he brought the money. One of the guards hands the lawyer a suitcase. The suitcase contained a huge amount of money that Tom had never seen before in his life. The lawyer assumed that the guy would need funds for small expenses, so he brought this suitcase, apologizing that he only took $1 million. Tom grabbed a stack of bills and casually threw them into the air, while the men watched in fascination. The guy has not yet finished his revenge on Sean for his terrible actions. The main character demands that the guy get hit in exchange for money. Money in this world really can do anything, and the men are already bending over Sean, planning to beat him again. Tom, accompanied by men in suits, walks away from the scene of the fight, continuing to throw money down the drain. A guy walking through the streets of the city is happy to be rich. Suddenly, the hero receives a notification from the system, which reports that the initial one is completed and the spending system is activated. Everything floats around Tom, and he finds himself in a completely incomprehensible place where there is nothing. A system window pops up in front of him, which shows a photo of a guy, next to which various characteristics are written. Tom is delighted with the new system, and she asks to give it a name. Tom enters a name for the system, Pixie. The system gives a new task for the main character, which is that the guy needs to spend all his money in exchange for points and bonuses from the system. The punishment that follows for failing to complete a task frightens Tom very much. A countdown for completing the task appears above the guy's head. Tom has no choice but to be a real spender. The message from the system ends and the hero returns to reality. He meets his lawyer and looks at him suspiciously. Tom invites the man to work for him, claiming that he's a good guy. But the lawyer claims that he has a good-paying job in the company, to which Tom simply asks for the man's bank account. The lawyer is embarrassed, saying that the main character misunderstood him, but the guy doesn't even listen to him. Tom quickly types something on his phone, ignoring the man next to him. A notification was sent to the lawyer's phone. When the man looked at him, he was stunned. His eyes almost fell out of their sockets. Tom transferred $1 million to the man's account, knowing that this would definitely affect his future decision. The lawyer could not believe that he received such a huge transfer of funds. Such a large amount of money bribed the man. Now he is ready to do anything for the sake of the main character. The first task for the man was to sign an agreement on the transfer of shares. The lawyer immediately rushed to complete his task, hitting the girls with tremendous speed on his way. Next on the guy's dream list was buying a car. Tom is already standing in front of the car sales company, anticipating his imminent long-awaited purchase. Beautiful and expensive cars greet the main character. Entering the threshold, the guy was instantly surrounded by beautiful workers, claiming that they were the best in their business, and Tom must choose them. The guy found the girls very friendly and is trying to say something back to them. The workers suddenly noticed what cheap clothes Tom came in, and the expression on their faces noticeably changed from submissive helpfulness and friendliness to disgust. The girls immediately lost interest in the guy because he was unlikely to make a big profit for the company and leave them a substantial tip. Tom is angry that the employees' attitude towards him has changed dramatically and thinks to himself that they will regret this. One beautiful girl did not judge the guy by his appearance and approached him and asked what kind of car the main character was planning to buy. Tom demands to show him the most expensive car they have. The girl asks him to go to the car while her colleagues laugh at the guy and his attempt to appear rich. An employee shows him a new white Rolls-Royce model, which screams about its old age and high cost. The price of the car was $6.5 million. Tom was very impressed by this model. He examines it from all sides. He is very happy, just like me. When you, dear viewer, subscribe to my channel and leave a comment with a like, this is very important to me. Have a good day. The car fully meets the criteria of his choice, and will speak about the status of the owner. The guy wanted to get into the car to finally make a decision about buying it, but a stern voice abruptly stopped Tom from this idea. The formidable girl demands the guy not to touch the car, otherwise he will not be able to pay her off. Tom is outraged that the employee dares to look down on him and judge him by his appearance. The girl yells at a colleague who wanted to help the main character and asks her not to bring such clients again. The buyers, brought by a strict girl, began to mock Tom, emphasizing his poverty. The employee rudely shoos Tom away from the car, not allowing him to say a word. She shows her new clients the latest model of Rolls-Royce, which the main character liked, in the hope that her clients will buy this car. The girl who came with her rich boyfriend was delighted with the car. She begs him to buy her a car. The man is captivated by her huge bust, from which he cannot take his eyes off. He decides to buy this car and asks its price. The employee voices the price of $6.5 million, to which the man falls into a stupor. He didn't expect to hear such a high price. His companion looks pleadingly at the man and he has to calm down. He is sure that the girl does not deserve such an expensive gift. The employee and the girl beg the man to buy this expensive car. However, it fits a cheaper Chinese car, which is significantly inferior in all respects to a Rolls-Royce. This is exactly the kind of car that suits a girl. The girls are outraged by this man's act because they hoped that he would buy that expensive car. Tom intervenes in their argument by pushing them apart. The hero takes out a gold card and is going to buy the latest Rolls-Royce model. The man with his lady and the woman who served them did not expect that the guy could not even afford something like that. The girl who served Tom reports that the purchase amount is $6.5 million, and it is an honor for her to serve such a client as Tom. The guy asks her to round the amount to $7 million. Tom leaves the remaining $800,000 as a tip to the girl. The girl holding the main character's card in her hands does not believe her luck. It looks like a dream. The man, who could not afford such a purchase, began to mock the guy, calling him arrogant. The employee supported him in his statements. The girl thought that there wasn't even $1,000 on the guy's card, but the payment was successful. The man and the employee were in shock. They did not believe that what was happening was real, and that such a poor guy as Tom could afford the most expensive car. The main character, feeling the pleasure of a large amount of money, asks the consultant to provide him with the most expensive models from each car brand. Inspecting the beautiful new cars, Tom takes each one, enjoying his acquisitions. The guy praises the girl who serves him for her work ethic and invites her to choose any car she likes, which he pays for. A couple of buyers and their consultant are shocked by Tom's proposal to a girl. However, the girl refused to purchase a new car because it was extremely inappropriate in her situation. But the main character tells her that luck is for kind-hearted people and she deserves this gift like no one else. The man, who had been standing aside all this time, amazed at the guy's wealth, decides to leave, dragging the girl with him, who didn't really want to go. The gentleman's behavior infuriates the girl and she hits him, arguing that a man should not pretend to be tough when in fact he is a poor man. The girl, seeing the wealth of the main character, begins to pester him, saying that tonight she will be his. However, Tom rejects her offer and kicks her aside. The worker, seeing how her clients were dealt with so easily, began to fear for the consequences of her actions. The girl wanted to leave before retribution befalls her, but the guy stops her, claiming that his specialty is to hold a grudge for a long time. Tom asks his assistant to bring the manager while the girl awaits her fate in fear. The manager quickly appears in front of Tom, asking him what happened and how he can help. The main character demands that the man fire this arrogant girl who refused to serve him, to which she replies that she has connections and the guy will not be able to fire her. The manager thinks that what he is doing is not very good, but Tom does not want to back down, and if the man does not fulfill his request, he will buy the entire store and fire him as well. The workers are shocked by the protagonist's statement, because to buy the entire store the guy will need several $billion, and such a waste of money is simply pointless. But Tom's main task is to waste money, and these girls do not understand anything. The manager stands aside, not knowing how to answer the guy so as not to bring problems on himself and the company. The girl who served the main character reports that he is the second most influential shareholder of the company. Having learned this information about the guy, the manager instantly decides to fire the girl who dared to treat the client this way, to which she looks at him in fear. The man drives away the employee, who declares that he has no right to fire her. The manager mercilessly kicks the girl for her action. An employee stands next to a previous client after a fall. The man looks contemptuously at his former employee and customer. He condemns their behavior, after which he returns his gaze to the main character, admiring him and his wealth. The manager asks if Tom needs any more help, bowing low as a sign of respect. The main character still has 70 million left, and he is thinking about how and where else to spend it. Tom takes only the Rolls-Royce with him, claiming that he will pick up the rest of the cars later, and the manager and girlfriend thank him for the purchase and wait again. The car turned out to be really good and fully justified all the money spent on it. Tom was annoyed that he still had to spend such a huge amount in such a short time. Passers-by, seeing the expensive car, were very surprised and stared, and Tom thought only about the punishment that awaited him for failing to complete the task. The guy decides to call his friends to help him complete the task. He offers to go to the most expensive hotel and have a blast there, but his friends thought that Tom was crazy, because he had always been poor and such an offer was unusual for a guy. A car passes at full speed next to a beautiful girl, brushing her short dress with the wind. The heroes are greeted by a luxurious tall building, decorated with golden ornaments, shouting about the wealth of its visitors. Inside there are fountains, high ceilings with golden chandeliers. The main character has never seen such wealth before. The guy looks around for his friends, not finding them. He comes to the conclusion that they have not arrived yet. Suddenly, Tom hears his friend screaming from the exit. An arrogant rich man asks Rick, Tom's friend, to pay $10,000 for stepping on his rich designer shoes, for which he pays $100,000. The man angrily pushes the guy, still demanding money from him. But before Rick could fall, Tom caught him, asking if he was okay. The guy wanted to tell what happened between him and that man, but the main character interrupts him, claiming that he will sort everything out. Tom throws $10,000 at him for expensive shoes, saying that it's a trifle. Harry, one of Tom's friends, says that the guy is crazy. This man was just blackmailing, but the main character doesn't care about that, because he has a lot of money to spend. However, the man is still not satisfied with this situation, which makes him irritated. He calls the administrator to kick the guys out of such an elite establishment like this. The administrator, not wanting to incur even more problems, is going to take Tom and his friends away from the man. But the main character is not going to go anywhere, since he has not yet taken revenge for the fact that the man pushed his friend. Tom angrily pushes the administrator away from him, not wanting to listen to anything. The main character states that if one step on a man's shoes costs $10,000, then he is willing to pay Rick $200,000 to trample the man. Rick is only too happy to take revenge on the rich and arrogant man, and smiles evilly at him until he realizes what is happening. The guy begins to step on his rich shoes, sparing no effort on this action. In the end, all that remains of a man's rich designer shoes is a semblance of a shoe. The man's leg hurts terribly from many blows to it. Tom throws him a wad of money, declaring that it is for the treatment of his leg. Before leaving, the main character tells the man to never blackmail his friends again. However, the man is not satisfied with this state of affairs. He was humiliated and trampled, and he stops the heroes, asking if they know who he is. Tom, hearing such a ridiculous question, mockingly asks if the shoe salesman is a man. This statement insulted the man even more because he is the owner of jewelry and can easily strangle guys with his money. After the man introduced himself, rumors immediately spread in the hall about his family and wealth. Some even claimed that the toilet in his house was made of pure gold. It seems the man decided to compete with the main character to see who is more wasteful, not seeing him as a real rival. Pointing his finger at the nearest employee, the guy wants to ask him for something. Tom demands to bring him the most expensive wine they have to gargle after such an unpleasant exchange. Two beautiful girls in attractive uniform dresses are already bringing the main character his order. But the man is not ready to give up and asks the employee to bring all the supplies of good expensive wine to beat the guy. One of the employees of this expensive establishment pours the most expensive wine they have into a basin under the man's feet. The man smirks, claiming that a poor guy like Tom would never understand the entertainment of the rich. The main character asks the staff for expensive Kobe beef and black caviar to feed his dog. The man, not wanting to lose in their fight, finds a red coral, asking the cost, which was $300,000 due to the rarity of the coral. Having broken the coral, the man claims that they will pay all $400,000, while the employee looks at what is happening in surprise. Tom also finds a rare thing, jade, the cost of which is $500,000. The main character knocks the turquoise jade onto the floor, claiming that he will pay $600,000, while the staff watches as two young men smash the hotel's most expensive things. Tom and the man are angry with each other and decide to continue their competition of senseless money squandering. They break each other's most expensive things in the hotel while Tom's friends can only watch these two on the sidelines. Rick and Harry cannot understand the strange behavior of their friend and refer to substances. However, at some point, Tom and the man were stopped from their strange action, and they had to be distracted by a noise behind them. Behind him lay an elderly man who asked for help, but he's just a liar. And if anyone tries to help him, the man will claim to the police that he was pushed and will try to pay for the damages. The man realizes that the old man is trying to deceive him for a very large sum of money, and immediately runs to him to help. He heroically grabs the old man in his arms and grins triumphantly at everyone present. People around are shocked by the man's action and come to the conclusion that he's really rich. The man points his finger at Tom, claiming that he helps liars like this old man 10 times every day. But the main character only grins evilly at such a statement. This was clearly all set up by the guy, and he smiles creepily, declaring that the man is very naive. The main character took out his phone until the man understood what was going on. With the same terrifying expression on his face, the guy says that in one call, he can make the man's company go bankrupt. Suddenly, a stupid ringtone starts playing from the man's phone. He quickly answers the phone without expecting a catch. Over the phone, a subordinate shouts to his boss that their company's stock has plummeted. The man cannot believe that what he heard could be true, and the subordinate assumes that the boss offended some big shot, and therefore he should quickly apologize so that the stock does not fall completely. The man's realization came instantly after the beep sounded, indicating the end of the conversation, and he stood in a stupor for a moment. Suddenly, the man realized that the very big shot he had offended was Tom, who was now looking angrily at the man, feeling his victory. The hotel employee sharply points his finger at the man, calling his colleagues to follow him. The staff is angry with the man, claiming that his bank card is blocked and the things he broke amount to a total of 10 million. The old man whom the man wanted to help is also very angry with him. I claim that he wanted to defraud him of his money and at the same time pulls off his pants. The man abruptly runs away without pants and colorful shorts, saying that he will get money from the company. However, before the man could escape, the hotel staff stopped him, blocking his way and claiming that it was a bad idea to run away after he broke so many expensive things in their prestigious establishment. The man is surrounded by people, and he is terrified to think what they can do to him. The entire crowd violently attacks the man, beating him and demanding their money. They didn't leave a single living spot on the man. Tom leaned over him victoriously, asking if the man still wanted to compete with him. The man, realizing that his entire career and fortune are in the hands of the protagonist, begs to spare him, while saying that Tom is the richest, and the man was in vain to compete with him. Tom grins, declaring that he will spare the man. But in return, he will have to pay 10 million due to the fact that his friends demanded 10,000. But such a statement greatly frightens the man, because his bank card is blocked. The main character is not satisfied with this state of affairs, and he demands that the man write him a check, and he immediately agrees. The man modestly hands him a check for 10 million. The main character triumphantly takes the piece of paper in his hands, rejoicing at such an amount of money. The man complied with the guy's request, and now hopes that he will spare him. Tom calls somewhere, saying they can stop manipulating the man's stock. The man is quickly called back by his employee, congratulating him that their stock is stable again. He thanks Tom for having mercy on him, to which the guy only says to get out of here. The man, fearing that he might once again incur the wrath of the protagonist, takes his words literally and begins to roll. Tom, pointing his finger at the man, tells his friend to look at this pathetic sight. Rick admires his friend's heroism and courage. He tries to hug Tom for his salvation, but the main character is embarrassed that his second friend is silent. Harry grinned angrily at Tom without saying a word. However, suddenly his facial expression changed, and a bouquet of roses appeared in his hands. Harry hands the flowers to Tom, claiming that for his sake he is ready to become gay. The main character fell into a stupor from such a harsh statement from his friend, after which the guy hugged his friends, telling Harry not to think about such things anymore. A group of musicians played at the hotel, whose music delighted the ears of the heroes. The guys were having fun, drinking expensive wine. They tried the most luxurious dishes that they could not afford before. Tom was dancing with a beautiful girl with snow-white hair, and Rick was hugging from behind while dancing with a blonde in a pink dress. Their fun continued in the bathhouse, where the hero enjoyed the warm steam in a robe. The main character falls onto the bed with relief, summing up the results of the day. Today he spent 20 million and he has another 50 left. Tom is enjoying his new life and new challenges that he never dreamed of before. Suddenly a system appeared before his eyes, which said that the guy was indeed very naive. Tom mistook the system for a ghost and was very scared, but it declared that she was not a ghost, but a pixie. The main character began to swear at the system for deciding to scare him by pretending to be a ghost, but Pixie claims that she does not have time for such pranks, and she came to notify Tom. Pixie says that the guy owes her 40 points, and every day his debt increases by 1 point. The hero better pay off his debt quickly. Tom is annoyed, not understanding when he managed to borrow from the system. But the system began to list what it gave him, and all his past frauds are also worth points. All this puts a lot of pressure on the guy. The guy got angry, not understanding anything the system told him. But suddenly, the emotion on his face changed dramatically. The main character asked the system what the point of these glasses was and how he could use them. Pixie looks at the guy disdainfully, thinking that the guy really doesn't know anything. The system explains that points are worth much more in the system, and a guy with more points will achieve more than just money. Tom became enthusiastic, asking how else he could get points besides completing the task, to which the system replied that by spending 100,000, the guy gets 1 point. The guy's eyes lit up even more when he heard this information, because he had spent a lot of money profitably and should have received points. However, the system instantly destroys the dreams of the main character, answering that the guy receives points only for the money he earns. Tom suddenly realized that he had not received a single point today, and this made him very upset and disappointed. Pixie moves away from the guy, finally telling him to repay the debt as soon as possible. However, the guy stops the system to ask a question. The main character seriously asks what will happen to him if he does not pay her debt. The system slowly turns on the guy, saying that this is a secret. After that, the system disappeared, leaving the hero alone in a rich hotel room. Passers-by, seeing Tom surrounded by guards, admire him and guess who the guy could be. Not paying attention to the people around, the main character walks forward. The guy is angry at the system because it made him stay up all night thinking about what was said. Tom doesn't even know when the system's payment deadline is, and is thinking of a plan on how he can earn points. The guy orders his guards to collect the cars he bought. Pointing his finger at the other security guard, Tom orders him to follow him to the advertising agency. The guy is determined to complete his task in order to earn points and pay off his debt. This time, the hero promises himself to make a big scene while walking to his expensive car. The guy's car parks right in front of the university. Students, seeing such a large number of expensive cars near the educational institution, cannot contain their delight and surprise. They want to know if this rich guy really came to their university. The security guards laid out a red carpet in front of the main character's car door. Tom, in an expensive suit, gets out of the car, walking along the red carpet to the university. The guards bowed low as a sign of deep respect, greeting the main character. The young people recognize this rich guy as Tom, surprised at his new status. Tom greets his classmates, who by any means want to capture the guy's attention and get closer to him. The golden throne was already waiting for the main character, to which the guards invited him. Tom sat victoriously on the throne while girls bowed at his feet, eager to get a guy and become just as rich. However, the main character does not need such attention from the girls, and he hints to his guards to remove them. The men immediately understood what they had to do, and took the girls away from the hero until they wanted to leave the guy. Tom came to the university today to announce something and is ready to make an announcement. Students began to guess why the main character appeared on this day. Maybe he bought a university, or wants to make a donation. The guy nods to the guard as a sign that he can begin. The man gives the order for the entire unit to begin. However, nothing happens and the students silently look at him. Suddenly, there is a rumble that the young people did not expect to hear. One of the guys points to the sky where helicopters with red advertising banners were flying. More helicopters with the same inscriptions appear in the sky. The banner shows Tom himself on his golden throne. The main character spent a lot of money on cool advertising to find himself a maid who would be well paid. People immediately began to whisper when they heard that the guy was ready to pay well. If Tom spent so much money to find a maid, then she would definitely end up in high society. The guy took out a cigarette and set it on fire along with the money, after which he exhaled gray smoke and threw the burning money. Tom stated that he only needs one maid, who should be in touch with him constantly and be the most beautiful girl. The girls, having heard this information, began to act inaccessible, saying that such conditions were not for them, and they thought that the guy was simply looking for a mistress, however. Noticing that after their statements, the guy did not pay attention to them, the girls decided to stop this stupid circus. Having stood in frank and erotic poses, the girls began to tell the main character about their virtues. But Tom is not interested in the bodies of young ladies, and indifferently says that he will definitely interrogate each of them a little later. The first candidate was a girl in a short pink skirt and a top that emphasized her lush bust. The guys in the crowd saw the girl and began to admire her beauty and grace, but the girl was also known for her dissolute behavior. Having straightened her hair, the girl seductively told the guy that she wanted to work for him, blowing him a kiss. However, the guy instantly rejected her candidacy, saying that the girl was not qualified enough. The lady does not understand why she could be rejected, because she has a beautiful face and a curvaceous figure. But Tom coldly stated that he doesn't like girls who flirt. People immediately began to whisper about the girl's dissolute behavior, saying that they would not have chosen her as a candidate either. The girl runs away, not hiding her shame, while the guy calmly looks after her. The main character continued to look through the following candidates. The next girl could breathe fire. But Tom was not impressed, and he sent her to save the world with Captain America. The elderly woman stated that she knew how to collect and sort garbage, but this also did not meet Tom's requirements. Suddenly, someone's hand threw the candidates aside, saying that they were an eyesore. The scary man dressed up in a pink dress and wig, declaring that he was the most handsome here and the guy should choose him. But Tom didn't like this ridiculous joke and threw the refusal sign right in the man's face. The main character has already lost hope of finding a normal candidate for this position. However, suddenly a pink-haired girl appears before his eyes, who immediately interested the guy. She timidly asked if the guy was still hiring. Tom looked in fascination at the beautiful girl in front of him. But the girl was so timid and modest that she did not dare to look at the guy. One of the students notices Jessica, because she is the most beautiful at the university. It seems that the girl also decided to take such a job for the sake of big money. Tom is crazy about Jessica's beauty and modesty. He fell in love with her and is ready to hire her right away. The girl introduces herself and asks if she can try out for the job. But the main character interrupts the girl, saying that he is ready to hire her without an interview. The girl timidly asks how much she will earn working for Tom. Her classmates are upset that the girl decided to do this for the sake of money, and that such a rich man took her. The question about the salary made the main character think, taking into account the fact that the girl is still on probation. Tom offers the girl a salary of $200,000. In addition, she will have 3 meals a day and housing, and the guy will give her a BMW. This offer amazed the girl, and those around her. They did not expect the guy to pay so much. Seeing the confusion on the faces of his interlocutors, Tom thought that he had offered too little. Those around him, having heard such a lucrative offer, attacked the guy, claiming that they could be anything for him for that kind of money. The main character, seeing such a crowd that is ready to tear him to pieces for money, grabs Jessica by the hand. The guy heroically leaves the girl from the crowd, holding her hand. They quickly climb into the car to hide from public view. The people, noticing the disappearance of the girl and Tom, are trying to catch up with the guy's car, hoping to do something else. The guy breathed a sigh of relief when they were in the car. Leaving the annoying people behind, Tom starts a conversation with Jessica, saying that those people were too carried away. The girl blushed deeply and wanted to say that the guy's hand was still on her hand. The main character sharply noticed that he was still holding Julia's hand. Tom was very embarrassed and began to apologize to the girl, saying that he did it unintentionally. The chief noticed how warm and soft her hands were. In his head, he began to imagine how a girl in beautiful lingerie warmed up the place next to him. Jessica noticed how the guy was lost in his dreams. She smiled warmly as she looked at him. Jessica concluded that Tom didn't seem like a bad person. When the main character put on a show to find a maid, Jessica thought he was a pervert, but it seems she was wrong. Tom even offered such a large salary for the girl that she had hopes of paying for her father's treatment. Suddenly, the guy screamed. He seemed to remember something. Tom suddenly realized that he forgot to buy a villa, for which he hired a maid. Jessica came to the conclusion that the guy was not a pervert, but just an idiot. Tom and the girl found themselves opposite a tall glass building that was engaged in sales. The main character gave the order to the guards so that they all remain in place, except for one, who will go with them. Jessica and Tom enter a glass building. The couple is greeted by a girl from the information desk who asks if they are going to buy a villa for their wedding. This question really confused Jessica, but the guy quickly explained that they were not getting married. He just decided to buy himself a villa. However, in Tom's mind, he thinks that if Jessica were his wife, it would be wonderful. The girl shows the main character different areas with luxurious houses. Prices for villas did not fall below 20 million. Jessica thought such prices were very high, and she was only surprised to see the guy next to her. However, Tom was not at all embarrassed by the prices. He came to the conclusion that the more expensive, the better. The guy is ready to buy the villa he likes, but someone interrupts him. His purchase is interrupted by a young and arrogant guy with his girlfriend, who asks his companion if she liked the villa. The girl really liked the villa, but she claims that she would like any gift from the guy. But Tom interrupts the couple's conversation, saying that he was the first to see this villa. The guy casually throws a card with $500,000 at Tom, asking him to quickly get out of here. Jessica is worried about the main character and invites him to choose another house. The guy notices a beautiful girl next to Tom. He immediately liked her. The guy examines Jessica from different angles, offering to become his woman, while promising to provide her with everything. His girlfriend laughs, calling Ron a playboy, to which he replies that girls like bad boys, at which time Tom realizes that he needs to know more about his potential opponent. Information about the guy is worth 10 points, and the system says that Ron is the only son of a major shareholder. However, Tom doesn't care whose son this guy is, because he took his villa and humiliated Jessica. Ron hands the consultant his card, declaring that he is going to buy this house. The main character calls his guard, Edward, with one click of his fingers. The dark-skinned man instantly comes to Tom's aid, pushing Ron far back. Edward squeezed the guy's card, which fell out when he flew away. The man squeezed Ron's plastic card with ease until he realized who pushed him and what Edward was going to do. The man crumbled Ron's card, throwing away what was left of it. The guy's face contorted in shock and misunderstanding. Tom asks if Ron really wanted to buy his villa for only $26 million, claiming that this will not happen. The main character declares that he is ready to buy this villa for $30 million. Ron took Tom's statement as a challenge and is ready to compete with him in money. The main character does not intend to just forgive the guy for daring to insult his maid. Ron is angry with Tom and declares that he is ready to pay $50 million for the villa. The girls did not expect such a statement from Ron, to which he says that it is just a measly $50 million. Tom does not want to give in to the guy and claims that he will pay $90 million. This statement further confuses the girls while the guys continue to argue behind them. Tom tells the guy not to even try to argue with him and demands that he apologize to Jessica. Realizing that Ron is not yet ready to raise that amount, Tom begins to mock the guy. Ron cannot stand the attacks of the main character and shouts that he will pay $100 million. The consultant falls at this price, imagining what commission she will receive. Ron begins to tease the main character, forcing him to raise the bet. However, Tom is bored with this competition and refuses to buy this villa for an amount that is several times higher than the original price. Ron didn't expect the guy to give up so easily and froze in incomprehension. Tom says that he is not going to pay 5 times more for the villa because such a purchase will make him a fool. Ron's girlfriend swears that the guy, succumbing to emotions, does such stupid and thoughtless things as buying a villa. The girl cannot forgive the guy for his stupidity, calling him a fool and deciding to end the relationship. These words break Ron's heart. He was deceived out of money, and the girl he loved abandoned him. The guy holds a grudge against Tom while he leaves with Jessica to look at other villas. Tom, pointing to a beautiful villa, asks the consultant how much it costs. The villa was located on the seashore and was very spacious and beautiful. Its price was $27 million. The main character says that he will pay $30 million, while the girl makes the payment, and Ron monitors the guy's actions. He abruptly intervenes in Tom's conversation and declares that he is ready to pay $50 million to break the hero's deal. Tom is annoyed by Ron's presence and the fact that he is invading his personal affairs. The guy pompously declares that the villa goes to the one whose price is higher, but Tom does not particularly react to his opponent's statement. The main character reacts completely indifferently to Ron's statement. Tom's ostentatious calm annoys Ron. He must come up with something to take revenge on the guy for his humiliation. Having not come up with anything better, the guy insults Tom in order to somehow motivate the guy to take decisive action. But Tom does not react in any way to insults directed at himself, and with a smile on his face says that he is ready to give the house to Ron if he likes it so much. Insults and humiliations made no sense, and the guy remains only a loser. The consultant thanks Ron for the purchase, saying that the total amount is $150 million. The guy was clearly not ready to pay for such an expensive and pointless purchase. Ron blames Tom for his problems, saying that he doesn't understand where he can get such a large amount of money now. But the main character replies that these are not his problems. The consultant asks Ron threateningly if he can pay for everything. The girl accuses the guy that it was he who raised the prices for the villas, but now he doesn't want to pay. She calls security, saying that Ron is causing problems in the store. 3 huge and strong men stand in front of Ron and begin to threaten him. The men start beating the guy, telling him not to pretend to be rich when you're not. Ron also finds himself defeated and humiliated, just like Sean. The main character again defeated the villain. Ron got what he deserved and Tom is happy with this outcome. The guy decides to buy a villa for $30 million. The main character asks the system if he has made any progress in completing the task. A data plate is shown in front of Tom, which indicates that the guy has spent $20 million and has 2 hours left. Looking at Jessica, who stood modestly to the side, Tom immediately gets an idea where he can spend the money. The heroes find themselves in a luxurious boutique where a girl tries on the most beautiful designer dresses. Jessica is wearing a purple sleeveless dress with a shiny skirt that highlights her figure. The main character is crazy about the girl's beauty and says that they buy all the dresses that the girl tried on. However, Jessica says that she doesn't need to buy all the dresses, to which Tom asks if she didn't like them. The girl admits that all these dresses and jewelry are too expensive for her. But Tom lifts her head on his chin, tenderly calling the girl stupid. The guy says that only these clothes will suit his maid. The girl looks lovingly at the main man. Tom returns her gaze, also looking at her tenderly. Their lips move closer to each other, hoping for a kiss. Suddenly, the romantic atmosphere of the heroes is interrupted by the system, which congratulates the guy on reaching the 2nd level and completing the task, as a reward for which he receives 250 points. Tom swears that this is all at the wrong time, but the system does not notice his indignation and offers to watch new updates. A store appears in front of the hero, where you can buy elixirs that increase strength, luck, or all abilities at once, but their price is also rather high. Tom becomes enthusiastic to work even harder and better in order to allow himself to improve his characteristics with the help of elixirs. The guy is confident in himself, declaring that the system is under his control, and achieving success will not be difficult. Suddenly, the guy's dreams of a good future are interrupted by men in military uniform. They surrounded the main character, not giving him a chance to get out, pointing weapons at him. The guy clearly did not expect that everything could turn out this way. Tom does not understand what is happening and why he was surrounded, as if he were some kind of criminal. The captain of the group approaches the main character, who states that the guy is suspected of robbing a bank. Tom didn't think he could be accused of such actions. He falls in shock into the rivers of the girl next to him, suggesting that perhaps some mistake has occurred. But the captain replies that someone reported the guy, and there can be no mistake. The men order their subordinates to arrest Tom until he understands what is happening and how the situation can be corrected. The hero is greeted by an interrogation room. Captain Kick states that a bank was recently robbed for $100 million, and an unknown person reported that the main character suddenly received a huge amount of money from unknown sources. Tom is trying to understand how he can justify himself, and who could inform on him. Kika's assistant interrupts the protagonist's thoughts, demanding that he quickly answer the questions posed. Kick informs his assistant that violence in this case is unacceptable, and it is better for him not to use such methods in the future. The guy asks again, maybe the captain was just mistaken. Tom makes an excuse that he is just a poor student and he cannot have such a huge amount of money if the captain does not believe him. He can check his bank account, which does not have a penny in it. However, the man suddenly grabs the guy's hand. Kick asks Tom if he really is a poor student, after which, exposing the protagonist's hand, the captain points to the rich watch on the guy's wrist, which an ordinary student clearly cannot afford. Tom completely forgot about the expensive watch he recently bought at the mall. He made a mistake, and his excuse makes no sense at all. The guy does not have a single chance to deceive the man opposite him, because he is clearly intelligent and well prepared. While Tom is thinking, Kick again demands answers to his questions. Realizing that he has no choice, the main character decides to confess and tell the whole truth to Kiku. Tom admits that this is all a system for burning money. The guy explains that this system has given him such a huge amount of money and forces him to spend every last penny, otherwise the guy will face serious punishment. Tom seriously declares that he has nothing to do with the bank robbery. Kick and his assistant did not expect such a frank confession from the guy. They start shouting at the main character, declaring that they are not idiots for believing such nonsense. Kick demands to tell the truth, otherwise the guy won't leave them anywhere today. But Tom declares that he didn't lie. Suddenly, someone opens the door with a loud crash. The heroes, interrupting the interrogation, turn towards the noise, wanting to know the reasons for its occurrence. Tom's lawyer bursts into the office, apologizing for not coming earlier and claiming that he is always ready to help his boss. However, a policeman appears behind the lawyer and asks the man not to pretend to be tough, because he was speeding and now he faces a fine. The lawyer quickly puts himself in order, giving his image a neat, strict look. The man stands up for the main character, stating that now the guy has nothing to worry about. Tom confidently declares that despite the fact that he could settle this issue himself, he will allow his lawyer to deal with it. Although in fact, the guy is very happy that the man came to his aid. The lawyer demands Captain Kick to present evidence to detain the protagonist. The captain calmly explains that they received tips about a bank robbery, and Tom is a suspect because $100 million was transferred to his account. The lawyer says that this is all nonsense. Tom is the largest shareholder of the company, and $100 million is small change for him. The man began to swear that because of Kick and his assistant, the reputation of the main character could deteriorate, and they must take responsibility for their actions. The lawyer says he wants to call the media here to clarify the situation. Captain Kick and his assistant began to worry about the problems that had arisen and suggested that a mistake might have occurred. 10 minutes later, the heroes were released, and they remained standing near the police station. Tom thanks Lawyer George for saving him, to which he replies that it is his job. Tom is called out by Jessica, who was already waiting for the guy. She hugs the guy, happy to have him back. The girl said that she was very worried about the main character, and Captain Kick did not let her into the station. The guy was very embarrassed by her confession. Tom is happy that Jessica is not indifferent to him, and she was worried about him. For the sake of this, the hero is ready to go to prison again. Jessica sighs with relief, making sure that everything is fine with the guy. Suddenly, the girl realized that she was still hugging the main character, which shocked him. She gets embarrassed and moves away from the guy so as not to bother him. She doesn't know what to say to Tom in the end and goes to the toilet. The girl accidentally gets confused and goes to the police station instead of the restroom, while the main character watches this with a smile. George informs Tom that there will be a shareholders meeting the day after tomorrow, which Tom needs to attend. Tom did not hear or did not fully understand what the man was saying and asked again about the meeting. The lawyer explains that Tom inherited Mr. Edgar's shares, and someone is very worried about this. And besides, Dan used all the tricks to buy up all the shares, and now he has 4%. The hero realizes that Dan is Ron's father and comes to the conclusion that they are both freaks. A system appears next to Tom, stunning him and informing him that the mission has been activated. A window appears in front of Tom with a new task, the deadline for which is the end of the shareholders' meeting. For completion, the guy will receive 2 points, and for failure to complete, he will lose 5. Failure to complete the task also entails punishment, which stresses the main character. Tom doesn't understand how he can take control of Dan's shares in such a short time, especially since he doesn't have enough money to do so. Tom decides that the penalty for non-compliance is not worth the risk and presses the reject button. Behind the guy is Jessica, who asks what the main character is worried about. The girl is worried about the emotional state of the guy, but he calms her down, saying that these are all trifles, and there is no need for girls to worry. Tom remembers that they are returning to the villa tonight, warning the girl about it. Jessica is embarrassed, realizing that it will be just the two of them. The main character does not understand the girl's confusion and asks what the problem is, to which the girl refuses. Tom's new villa looks luxurious and is worth all the money spent on it. The heroes are left alone in the living room in complete silence, not knowing what to say. They are both very embarrassed by each other's presence. Tom is alone with the girl for the first time and is very nervous. The main character comes to the conclusion that if things continue like this, it will just be a night of watching cartoons. The guy thinks seriously, figuring out what to say to him. He turns to the girl, saying that it is time for her to start doing her job. Jessica was very scared, because she didn't know that it was working time, and asked Tom not to fire her. But the guy didn't mean that at all. The girl has no idea what a maid should do because she has no experience, and she asks the main character about it, to which he replies that he thinks that first the girl needs to put on a maid costume. Jessica quickly runs into the room to carry out the guy's first order. The girl sits alone in the room, changing clothes. As she pulls on her stockings, Jessica comes to the conclusion that being a maid is very strange. Suddenly, the girl comes to the realization that she should have been prepared for this very thing when she got the job. The girl carefully appears in the doorway and Tom meets her gaze. Standing in a red tight dress and a white apron, she asks the main character if this is how she should look. Tom is crazy about the beauty of the girl. His heart is ready to jump out of his chest at any moment. Jessica carefully asks the guy if he is happy, to which she receives a positive answer. The girl tries to ask something, but embarrassment prevents her from doing so. Plucking up her courage, Jessica asks what she should do. Tom is very confused by the question of the girl and her innocence. The main character wants to hear thanks for the unpacked maid suit. At this time, Ron, all beaten up in a wheelchair, comes to his father, demanding that he intercede for him. The guy says that Tom deceived him, and his father must avenge him. Putting down a photograph of the main character, the man declares that this is outrageous. Dan declares that this time he will not be so gentle with the guy, because he humiliated the honor of his family. The man takes out his anger on his son, asking if Ron's intelligence is so low that he was deceived, to which the guy claims that he inherited his intelligence. Dan hits the crippled Ron, declaring that he doesn't need such a stupid son. The man orders his assistant to find out all the information about the main character. With a cold expression, Dan states that during the shareholders' meeting, he wants the guy to suffer. At the villa, Tom had already chosen Jessica's first task as a maid. He asks the girl to do her work a little more gently and faster. Tom feels bliss and happiness from Jessica's job well done. The girl continues to give the main character a foot massage while he praises her ability. The guy is happy to have such a beautiful and skillful maid at home. Suddenly, the guy's gaze falls just below Jessica's face. He glanced briefly at the girl's curvy figure, which was emphasized by the beautiful open neckline of the dress. Everything inside the guy trembled with surging emotions. Tom decides to read a book to take his mind off his obsessive thoughts. The guy accidentally picked up a book on meditation, which contained phrases that stressed him out even more. Tom thought that if Jessica found out about his thoughts and condition, she would consider him a pervert. The guy is saved by a phone call. The main character received a call from Rick, who turned out just in time. Rick asks Tom for help because Harry scratched a Ferrari with a scooter. Obviously, the fault does not lie with the guy, but the owner of a rich car wants them to pay him $1 million. Tom immediately rushes to help his friends, leaving Jessica alone. Rick does not lose hope of proving to the Major that they are not guilty, because it was he who hurt them, and now he demands that they pay. However, the man is not bothered by the guy's words. They scratched his car, and he demands compensation for the damage, otherwise he will break their legs. Rick begins to threaten that when Tom arrives, the man will regret his words and actions. But it seems he's still not touched by the guy's words. Suddenly, an expensive car passes in front of the man at high speed. The main character in a beautiful white suit comes out of it and asks who dared to threaten him and his friends. The man hits the car with his hand, telling the guy to stop talking nonsense. He says that if they don't give him $1 million, they might not even dream of leaving here. Rick angrily declares that such money only lies in the bank, and if the man is so eager to get it, then he needs to rob the bank. The man is also overwhelmed with emotion and stomps his foot, attracting the guy's attention. He bares his shoulder, revealing his tattoo, declaring that he's going to rob the guys, not the bank, and they must have heard of him as a debt badass. Tom calmly declares that he will pay the unstable man money. The guy asks about the amount of the transfer and says that he will use the QR code to pay the man the money. Rick interrupts Tom, saying that he's crazy if he plans to pay the man. The translation is successful. The man is glad that he was able to deceive the guys and get money. However, Tom does not intend to leave, much less let the man go. The main character, with a devilish smile, says that they paid for the damage to his car and now it's the man's turn to pay for the motorcycle. The man does not take the guy's threat seriously, calling the motorcycle a piece of junk, declaring that he is ready to pay full price for it. Tom, with the same evil smile, repeats the man's words about the full price. The main character states that this piece of junk has a rocket engine. It also has the radar system of a jet fighter, the anti-missile matrix of an aircraft carrier, and also the armor of a tank. Sea, sky, land, and space, all in one. Tom demands that the man pay at least 10 million, and he doesn't even think about running away. The man is shocked by the guy's impudence and is not going to pay such a huge amount for a broken-down motorcycle. The main character warns that the man should not regret his refusal later, picking up a megaphone. A guy shouts provocative statements about a man throughout the yard. One of the residents of the area went out onto the balcony, saying that he knew that the man was bad, but did not think that he was that bad. The girl from another house is also outraged by the man's actions. Insults rained down on the man from all sides. He accuses Tom of slandering him and will regret it, to which the guy tells him to look at his phone. If he wants, everyone will know the man's secrets. The man is in fear. He does not understand how the guy found all the compromising photographs of him. At Tom's request, the system found all the information about the man that the hero might need. The man fell to his knees in front of the guy and began to beg him not to spread this information. In return, he was ready to pay any amount that Tom demanded. The guy quickly receives a transfer of 10 million to keep him quiet. Tom easily earns such huge money and is very pleased with it. The guy thinks of buying a good luck elixir, which increases luck, and everything starts going completely smoothly within an hour. Tom has earned 390 points so far. He still needs 110 to buy the elixir. The main character, hugging his friends by the shoulders, declares that he will take them to places where they did not have the courage to go. The guy says that they will definitely like this place. The guys find themselves in the Heavenly Hall, which serves as a casino. Harry is not sure that they can be here. At the entrance, they are stopped by a guard who declares that he cannot let them in. However, Tom doesn't pay attention to his statement and throws his card at him. The employee, seeing that Tom from a large corporation fell into a stupor, he realized that he had made a serious mistake by blocking the path of the hero. Hearing that such an important guest had visited them, the girls in beautiful dresses lined up at the entrance and began to greet Tom and his friends. The main character cannot believe that they easily got here, because the system said that this place is the largest casino in the city. Tom is ready to have a blast today, while the man who didn't let them in looks threateningly after them. He radios to his boss that it looks like they made a big catch today. Beautiful girls in tight suits and bunny ears walk around the hall, serving alcoholic drinks. Tom is delighted with the place they managed to get to, and the girl next to them offers to show the hero everything that is here. The girl began to give a short tour, showing the guys slot machines, card tables, and gaming tables. Suddenly, a beautiful girl with large breasts and blue hair calls out to Harry and invites the guy to play with her. Noticing her curvaceous form, the guy cannot take his eyes off her. He is ready to accept any offer from the girl. However, Tom pulls him away from the girl, declaring that they do not have time for this, because serious matters await them. Handing his card to the girl next to him, the main character asks to bring her gaming chips. Tom's friends, who received the chips, did not expect that there would be so many of them. But Tom says that he has one condition. With a serious expression on his face, the main character declares that they must lose everything. The guy decides to start playing with dice, anticipating the excitement. People are shocked when they see the amount of Tom's chips, suggesting that it could be worth 10 million. All threes must appear on the dice, and the main character triples his bet, calling the amount of 500,000. The girl who is watching the game apologizes and says that the highest bet should not exceed 100,000. The guy looks at her with displeasure and agrees, putting forward a bid of 100,000. The dealer rolls the dice and the numbers 3, 3, and 5 appear on them. The main character bets on triple again, and the girl accepts his bet. A man nearby states that triples are very rare, and his friend agrees, saying that it is a waste of money. But the guy has his own motivation. For every 10 million he's given 100 points, so he simply needs to lose all his money to achieve his goal. Tom turns away from the dealer, declaring that such small bets are too boring for him. However, the main character is called out by a beautiful blonde, who says that if the guy thinks that the stakes here are too small, then he can follow her. Tom is fired up with enthusiasm and is ready to follow the girl anywhere. The girl leads the guy to the golden door, indicating the status of the owner of the room behind it. They are greeted by a man who sits at the other end of the marble table. The man, who introduces himself as Joseph, greets the guest while taking a bite of chocolate. Tom, seeing his future opponent, assumes that the man is simply cosplaying some Hollywood hotshot. Joseph throws something, attracting the protagonist's attention. The man offers the guy any games to his taste: poker, mahjong, dice, whatever Tom wants. The main character offers to play dice because this is more or less what he is familiar with. However, Joseph has conditions. His minimum rate is 500,000. Tom declares that this is not enough and proposes to raise the rate to 1 million. The man clearly did not expect such a proposal from the main character. While Tom is playing, a fat man is watching him through the screens, seeing all the actions of the hero. The main character is clearly not interested in the events taking place. This can be seen from his facial expression. The man who watches the guy's action is the owner of the Heavenly Hall, and is interested in the main character, considering him funny. The girl who took the volume to Joseph says that everyone likes people who give money without asking questions. The man furiously declares that if the girl brings more similar players to them, his business will skyrocket. Meanwhile, the game between Joseph and Tom continues, and everyone is eager to see their confrontation. The guy who follows the game says that even as the French king of gambling, he was never this crazy. The top Indian player agrees, saying he has never thrown so much money down the drain. The only pirate player from the Caribbean says he thought no one could be more reckless than him, but Tom is here. The man says that in Japan, everyone knows to avoid playing dice with Joseph. Josefa has all the dice under control and will have no problem winning anyone. The numbers 1, 5, and 3 appear on the dice, and the man again defeated Tom. Joseph recommends that Tom not place a triple again, because the probability of getting it is extremely low. Pointing to the number of chips of the main character, the man declares that half has already been lost. However, Tom is completely indifferent to this situation, and he again bets the triple for 1 million. Joseph takes the guy's statement as a challenge, claiming that he will never hit a triple. The numbers on the dice are 1, 1, and 3, and the man wins again. Joseph threateningly asks what the guy will say, expecting to see the disappointment of losing on his face. However, the guy, throwing his chips, already bets 4 million on a triple. Joseph intends to win all of Tom's money, leaving him with nothing. The dice roll is 5, 5, and 6, and the man wins again. The man laughs evilly, saying that the guy is an idiot for playing dice with him, and Joseph is ready to take all the main character's money. Behind Tom are men who call him stupid, but one of them suggests that the guy might have some kind of evil plan. They continue to mock the main character, calling him rich but stupid and claiming that he would be better off spending that money on brain surgery. Having spent the required amount, the guy receives 100 points, which he lacked before buying the elixir of good luck, and the system asks if Tom wants to buy the elixir now. Tom accepts the system's offer and buys the elixir of luck, tossing a chip and saying that the show is about to begin. Tom has used the luck elixir and receives the blessing of the goddess of luck. There is a reboot of luck, a blessed journey. Joseph reminds the main character that he only has 1 million left, and asks if he wants to bet on the triple again. Tom smiles wickedly and puts all the remaining chips on the game. The man planned that the guy would lose all his money and was ready to enjoy his future victory. Suddenly, the pirate player and the French king decide to join the game. Joseph looks at this proposal skeptically, asking how they are going to play. The top Indian punter says they will not play, but will simply bet on the outcome of the game. Joseph thinks of men as a bunch of greedy losers who, seeing how stupid the main character is, want to tear off a piece of him. Tom says that he is broke, and the only thing he has left is money, so if he loses, he will pay them twice as much. The men became enthusiastic, betting 8, 10, 20, 50 million. By pointing their finger at the main character, they declare that they are betting on him to lose. Joseph, feeling his victory, says that there is no turning back and opens the glass with the cube. Everyone is about to find out the result. This is a very intriguing moment. Joseph looks at the glowing cubes, excited to see their victory. The men who placed the bets also hope to get double the money. However, Tom is also confident in his victory. 3 sixes appear on the dice, and this is a triple. No one clearly expected such an outcome. Declaring that it was impossible, the men's faces were distorted by shock and horror. The casino owner, who had been watching the game all this time, also did not expect that Tom could win, and this even broke the cup in his hand. The main character has already begun to count how much the best players from different countries owe him, doubling their debt. As a result, the guy won 200 million. The men began blaming Joseph for their loss, suggesting that he might be in cahoots with Tom. Tom, distracted from the arguments, writes to Rick to bring the boys right away. The casino owner angrily runs out to the main character, calling him names and asking how he dared to play with him. However, Tom didn't even turn to the man's screams, not paying attention to him. The owner is extremely fierce and has brought a bunch of guards with him, and is ready to kick Tom out of the casino. However, the main character is not interested in insults directed at himself, and he says that the man fell so low simply because he lost. But the owner does not intend to listen to comments about his address, saying that this is his territory. The men order their subordinates to detain the protagonist. However, Harry and Rick stand up for Tom, saying that the casino owner does not want to pay, although he lost. People who were deceived by the man also take their side, and they want justice. A fight breaks out between the two sides. People are outraged by their loss, suggesting that the owner deliberately set it up. Rick said that he saw Tom's message and called the guys for help to deal with the owner, to which the main character said that he would treat his friend later. After the man got what he deserved, Tom asks if the owner still thinks the guy cheated, to which he replies that he doesn't think so and will pay him everything he owes. The main character receives a notification on his phone that the gambling king of France, the gambling magician of India, a pirate and gambler from the Caribbean, the gambling king of Japan, and the heavenly hall have brought him many millions. Tom received 200 million. By spending them, he can get 2,000 points. While the main character was looking at the phone, his aunt called him, and the guy quickly answered the call. Auntie tells Tom that his uncle had an accident and is now in the hospital. Hearing this information, the main character got scared and quickly went to the hospital where his uncle was lying. While he is driving, he is tormented by bad thoughts about the man. When Tom was little, his uncle's family brought him in. They raised the guy. His uncle accepted Tom as his own son. He taught him, fed him, and took care of him. The protagonist's family was not rich, so his uncle had to work a lot and hard, but thanks to this, he could afford to pay for Tom's studies at the university. The guy hopes that nothing bad happened to his uncle and that he is okay. Tom quickly arrived at the hospital, dispersing everyone present in order to quickly get to the man. He touches people and pushes them in order to quickly arrive at his uncle's location. The guy noticed his aunt in the hospital, standing next to a tall, dark-haired man. When the woman saw her nephew, horror appeared on her face. Aunt tells Tom that his uncle simply injured his leg and needs to be hospitalized. The guy exhales with relief, realizing that his relative is not in serious danger. However, the presence of a menacing dark-haired man makes the main character tense. Tom asks if this guy is Dad's friend, to which the woman denies it. The aunt says that this man hit his uncle. Tom, having heard this information, became very angry with the man, clarifying his involvement in this case. The man does not feel any remorse, accusing his uncle that it was his own fault that he did not see where he was going. The man also says that his car is scratched, and out of the goodness of his heart, he does not ask to pay for it. Tom accuses the man of saying such things after bumping into someone, to which he replies that the guy should stop yelling because he sees all the tricks of the poor. The man hands his aunt a large stack of money, stating that it is for medical expenses. However, before the women can take the money, the man lets them go. With an evil smile, the man apologizes, saying that the money slipped out of his hands. The money fell on the floor, and the woman does not know what to do. The man deliberately dropped the money so that she would pick it up from the floor, because she does not have the money to pay for medical care. The men invite Tom to pick up the money from the floor instead of the woman. The aunt resigned herself to the circumstances and doomedly knelt down to collect money. However, the girl did not have time to take the money when the main character intercepted her hand, preventing her from performing the action. The guy tells his aunt not to worry because he will pay for his uncle's medical care. The woman wants to say something to her nephew. Tom interrupts his aunt, telling the man that he no longer has to pay for medical care. The main characters demand that the man kneel down and apologize to his aunt. The man mockingly asks if the guy really wants him to change in front of the woman. With a snap of his fingers, 2 mounds of dirt appear next to the man. 2 men emerge from the mud and call themselves Gopher Brothers. They stand right in front of the main character and his aunt, asking if they are tired of life and want problems with their boss. The woman tells Tom to forget his idea because they cannot fight these rich people. The men agree with the protagonist's aunt, stating that they should just take his money and he would never apologize on his knees to a woman. Tom snaps his fingers, surprising the man. The men burst into laughter, saying that the guy even learned to snap his fingers like him, but Tom shouldn't expect anyone to come to his aid. However, his laughter is interrupted by a stomp like an earthquake. A whole crowd of dark-skinned security guards in suits comes to the guy's aid. The man's face quickly contorted into shock and incomprehension. Security guards quickly surrounded the man and 2 boys who came to his aid. The guys, sensing danger, quickly retreat underground, wanting the boss to be careful. The man did not expect that his subordinates would betray him, and he was left alone with the formidable men. The black security guard asks the man if he is the one who is causing problems for his boss. The man quickly falls to his knees in fear. He begins to apologize to the main character, regretting that he did not immediately recognize the guy and is ready to be his servant and crawl on his knees. Tom, with a murderous expression on his face, tells the man to get out, calling him worthless trash. The main character calls Edward, and he immediately appears in front of him. The guy asks the man if he sees a Lamborghini on the street, to which he receives a positive answer. Tom orders Edward to vandalize the man's car. The guard quickly understood the guy's task, and armed with objects capable of destroying something, the men headed towards the Lamborghini. The man, seeing that the guards were approaching to destroy his car, came to its defense. However, the guards quickly sent the man into the air so that he would not interfere with their task. The man watches in horror as his car is destroyed blow after blow. Suddenly, a road roller appears behind him, causing even more shock. When a road roller hits a car, it easily flattens it. As a result, nothing remains of the guy's car. The man can only look at the destroyed car. Suddenly, bills of money fall on his head. Tom, who threw the same money at the man, says that it is to pay for the car, adding that he should pack up and get away. However, the man is not going to forgive the main character and take his money, claiming that this is unforgivable. The man states that he just called the big shots in the same corpse. Captain Kick arrives at the scene with his assistants and asks about the wrecked car. The man asks Kick to avenge him because his car was smashed and he was bullied. Tom notices his acquaintance, claiming that a lot of time has passed. Captain Kick also recognizes Tom. The man did not expect that these two knew each other and turned to stone with fear. The main character hands the captain his lawyer's business card while the guards sneak behind him as if they weren't there. Captain Kick looks at Tim's lawyer's business card. The man concludes that the lawyer will be difficult to deal with, remembering how he shouted that Kick was responsible for the boss's reputation. The man distracts the captain from his thoughts by reminding him that Tom crashed his Lamborghini. Kick, lighting a cigarette, says that this is just in time and he needs to ask the man something. The captain recalls that tonight an unlicensed Lamborghini ran a red light and hit a man. After the incident, the owner of the cars wanted to flee the scene, but fortunately the police stopped him, after which Kick asks if this could be the man's car. The man tries to get out of it by saying that he has a BMW, after which the man is grabbed by the hands of Captain Kick's assistants, reminding him that the man said that his Lamborghini was broken and asking him to follow them. The man is desperately trying to get out, claiming that they got the wrong one, and he recently had dinner with their boss and wants to meet him, and also that he wants to call his lawyer, to whom he will complain. Tom, who was looking at what was happening, ironically noted that the man called the police, who caught him. Suddenly, the main character is distracted from his thoughts by someone's loud voice calling him. The main character's aunt wants to know where the guy got so much money. And who were those people dressed in black? Did the guy really join the criminal world? Tom tries to justify himself to the woman, claiming that he received this money from the business he's involved in. Suddenly, the main character asks where his cousin is and why she didn't come. The woman, horrified, reports that her cousin called and said she was on her way. But after that, no matter how many times they called her, they couldn't get through. The cousin has always been loyal. It is impossible that she would not come. Tom assumes that this is not an accident. The main character leaves, saying that he will go look for the girl and asks his aunt to take care of his uncle. Tom, driving in his car, asks the system if there is any way to find his cousin, to which the system replies that there is a super navigation system. The system marks the location of the protagonist's cousin on the map with a red dot. Pixie warns that for using this system, Tom will have to spend 5 points every minute, to which the guy is indignant that the system only told him about the disadvantages of the option after he turned it on. The system reminds you that the target is now in danger. The protagonist's face contorted in horror and he pressed on the gas to quickly arrive at his sister's location. Tom reasons that the uncle was hurt first, then the cousin. This cannot be a simple coincidence. The main character assumes that someone is clearly holding a grudge against him. Tom finds himself in a striptease bar, where a beautiful girl with devilish horns and red lingerie performs. The girl is also wearing fishnet tights and red high heels. The main character does not understand why his cousin came here. Suddenly, the guy's attention is attracted by a fat man who demands someone to drink. The girl was surrounded by a group of guys who pestered her and forced her to drink. The girl does not intend to agree to the guy's entreaties, hiding behind her hand. One of the guys gets angry at her and hits her in the face. The guy claims that he preserved her dignity by inviting her to drink with them, but the girl still refuses. The guy says that before there was no one who would dare to refuse them, while Tom approaches him. The main character hits the guy between the legs, not caring about his dignity. The guy cringes in pain while his friends ask about his well-being. Tom approaches his cousin, inquiring about her condition. The girl worriedly asks why the guy is here. She grabs her cousin's hand, saying that they need to run. The main character asks why they are running away, to which the girl replies that now is not the time for questions, and she will tell about everything later. However, the guys who pestered the girl block the two's path. The blonde guy who was hit by Tom orders his friends to stop the main character and his cousin, and if they do this, he will buy beer at his own expense. The girl watches in fear as huge guys approach her, who can easily defeat her. They surrounded Tom and his cousin, declaring that they were already dead. Tears well up in the girl's eyes. She looks down and asks for forgiveness from the main character. However, Tom has no intention of being looked at or afraid. He tells his sister not to worry. Adjusting his suit, the guy heads forward, telling him to leave the rest to him. The blonde guy says that Tom is naive and he won't be able to bribe such a huge number of clients. After his statement, a brick flies into the guy's head, which splits upon impact. Turning back, the guy wants to know who dared to throw a brick at him, threatening to catch the villain. But the people, armed with objects with which they can hit, are not at all afraid of the guy's threats, heading towards him. Tom declares that the only one who is naive here is the guy. The main character remembers a saying that says that if you have money, then people will always help you. But if you are broke, then no one will lift a finger. People have long felt hostility towards the fair-haired guy, and now, when they have the opportunity to beat him and take revenge for everything, they simply cannot help but take advantage of it. Having surrounded the guy, the people began to beat him with various hard things. Unable to bear everything that is happening, the guy screams, calling the master for help. Suddenly, a mysterious man in a cloak and with a white beard and long hair materializes near the guy. The guy is very happy about the appearance of his mentor Mason, and declares that his offenders are already dead after the master's appearance. The guys have heard about the powerful Master Mason and run away in fear so that they will not be punished. The main character sarcastically asks if the man really came here from a martial arts movie. Mason easily defeats the people in his path, moving in Tom's direction, declaring that he will let him see what he is capable of. He flies straight at the main character, wishing him death. It dawns on Tom that this man is truly a martial artist, and this realization horrifies him. The guy analyzes Mason's attack, assuming that his combat power is more than 10,000, and he will not be able to live more than 3 seconds after his blow. The main character urgently needs to come up with a plan to save his life. The system offers its help for 1,000 points, which shocks Tom. The guy doesn't understand where he should find so many points right now, and how he should earn these points if he dies. The system explains that because Tom is a newbie, the system gives him invincible powers while throwing a banana skin somewhere. The main character demands that the system come back and explain what other invincible superpowers are, and how a banana skin will help here. While Tom was talking to the system, Mason approached him trying to strike, but the main character manages to dodge and is not hit. A man slips on a banana skin, hitting his head on the floor. The blow was so strong that Mason's hair and beard fell off, and the man himself was unconscious. No one expected such a turn of events. Not even Tom himself. He tensely asks if the issue has been resolved. The blonde guy runs up to his master, asking about his well-being, and says that as his student, he will avenge him. However, a crowd with bats appears behind the guy, claiming that he will not be able to take revenge because he is unlikely to survive today. The guy asks for help while he is being beaten. The main characters give a check of 1 million to their cousin for the treatment of their uncle. The girl looks in horror at the huge amount that the main character gave her. Tom asks the girl to be quiet because they are in public while she asks where he got so much money. A girl confronts her cousin with a question until the guy understands why she always doubts him. The main character distracts her attention by saying that there is an uncle behind her. While the girl turned away, the main character quickly runs away, finally saying that everything is in order with the money. The cousin is angry that Tom ran away too quickly while an incomprehensible silhouette of a man is behind her. The man behind her tells his boss on the phone that the blonde guy also failed his assignment. The phone falls to the floor, breaking into pieces. Dan, who set the trap for the boss, is angry that nothing worked, and his subordinates cannot even do this, while Ron says that his father cannot allow Tom to do whatever he wants. Dan tells his son to be sure that he has other options. With an angry expression on his face, the man declares that the protagonist's shares will be his. Having caught his breath, Tom is glad that he finally escaped from his cousin, and is very afraid that the girl will be involved in all this. Suddenly, a system appears next to the guy, which congratulates the main character that a new mission is available to him. Tom is angry that the system scared him, but the pixies say that the guy shouldn't be so cruel because this mission is for charity. The main character is interested in a charity mission, and the system explains that the guy needs to win the famous singer Vanessa. The reward is 1,000 points and 2 full attributes. However, if Tom does not complete the task, he will be turned into a girl. The main character is not happy with this task, and he states that he has been busy all night and needs to go back to sleep. The system reminds that the guy has already refused the mission once. If he refuses again, it will carry out the primary punishment. The main character accepts the task in fear so as not to receive punishment from the system. Disappearing, Pixie wishes the user good luck while the guy realizes what he got himself into. Tom imagines Jessica's upset face and doesn't understand why he should date someone else now when he was with Jessica. The main character's mission takes place at a charity concert. A beautiful green-haired singer performs her song on stage. The girl is very attractive, and her voice is melodic and bewitching. The public loves Vanessa madly and wants to hear the songs again and again. Tom realizes that this is a really lucrative assignment, and he never thought that in reality the girl would look 100 times better than on TV. The main character simply must get Vanessa. Tom turns on the spiritual art of spreading money, and people around him run in different directions to catch the bills. Everyone wants to get at least part of the money, completely forgetting about the concert they came to. Vanessa's scenes do not understand what is happening and why people suddenly started fighting. Tom quickly finds himself on stage next to the girl, handing her a bouquet of money, declaring that he is from a large corporation and they can count the money together. However, the main character is quickly pushed off the stage. Scary older men are ready to sacrifice many thousands for the sake of a girl at her charity concert. Noticing each other, the men began to swear, declaring that the other was not worthy of Vanessa. The girl tries to calm down the men around her, claiming that as long as it is for good intentions, she will try her best to satisfy everyone's desire. The main character thinks that it's not surprising, because the girl is a celebrity, and the competition has only intensified. Tom feels superior, because his opponents are just a few old men. They cannot win it. Next to the main character appears Luke, a guy with purple hair, who declares that he is donating 10 million. Tom doesn't understand how this guy sneaked onto the stage unnoticed. Ordinary people are shocked by Luke's statement, remembering that the guy is the manager of his family's medical business. However, before he donates this money, Luke has one request. He asks Vanessa to give him a kiss. Luke justifies his desire by saying that Vanessa is a very kind person. The girl understands that for the sake of charitable donations, she will not dare refuse the guy. Older men began to resent Luke, who were not happy that Vanessa would kiss a guy for that kind of money. Luke states that if they are so brave, they can donate more than him. However, men do not want to spend such a lot of money and remain silent. Suddenly, a guy intervenes in the conversation, saying that this is his first charitable donation, and he is inexperienced in this matter, which attracts Luke's attention. The main character declares that he is donating 100 million. People didn't expect that someone could afford to spend 1 billion on charity. Rumors began to circulate in the hall that the main character was a billionaire. Luke angrily declares that to show love, it doesn't matter how much money you donate. However, the men behind him say that the guy doesn't dare say that, because he was just pretending. However, Tom stands up for Luke. They say that money is just property. The most important thing is love. In the future, the main character plans to create a charitable foundation. Extending his hand to the girl, the guy says that this fund will not be named after him. Kissing Vanessa's hand, Tom declares that the foundation will be named after his goddess. The girl is very embarrassed by the protagonist's statement. The people, having heard what the guy said, immediately change their opinion about him, noticing that the main character is not only rich, but also loving, and only he is worthy of their goddess, which angers Luke. People, seeing Luke's dissatisfaction, began to drive him away, throwing various things. People are still driving the guy away from Tom and Vanessa, and the main character thinks that someone like Luke is not worthy of a singer. Suddenly, people started asking Tom and Vanessa to kiss. The main character is very embarrassed by people's proposal, saying that it is not good to do this in public. Vanessa quickly approached the guy and kissed him on the cheek, which caused Tom to blush even more. The girl quietly whispered in the guy's ear that at 9 o'clock in the evening in the small forest behind the school, he should be there, otherwise he would lose. Tom is left standing embarrassedly while the girl leaves. Suddenly, a system appears above the protagonist's head, congratulating him on completing a charity mission. As a reward, the guy receives 1,000 points and 2 full attributes. However, the main character is not particularly concerned about her winnings. His thoughts are replenished with the girl's words about meeting in a small forest. Tom is going crazy at the prospect of meeting a beautiful singer, and the systems think the guy is just crazy. This happens to the main character for the first time in his life, and he believes that he must be perfectly prepared while the system behind him stands with a dumb sign. Dom did everything to be fully prepared for his meeting with Vanessa. Armed with everything he can, the guy is ready to head into the small forest. The small forest is the forest of lovers, and the guy is already heading there. Vanessa is already waiting for Tom at the place under the cover of darkness. The main character notices the girl and calls out to her. Vanessa looks charming. She turns to meet the guy. Tom is very nervous. He is very flushed and sweating. The main character tries to make small talk with the girl, complimenting her and inquiring about her condition. There was suddenly a tense pause between the couple. Tom is very tense, thinking that the battle has not even begun yet, and his head is already empty. He does not understand where all his calm and everyday chic went. The main character is still new to this kind of thing, and he is suddenly challenged. Suddenly, Vanessa took Tom by the hand, causing mute bewilderment in the guy. The singer looks at the main character, telling him to go with her, captivating with her gaze. The heroes find themselves on a tree under the light of the moon. Tom did not expect that they would end up on a tree branch, assuming that all celebrities had such oddities. The girl explains that she doesn't want to be bitten by mosquitoes, and besides, the view here is much better. But if the main character doesn't like it, then they can change the situation. Turning her back to the guy and sitting on a tree branch, she asks him to be more gentle with her. Tom, anticipating the moment for which he had been preparing all evening, tells the girl to worry, and he will be the most gentle. Suddenly, the guy falls and hits his head hard on a tree trunk. The girl wonders if Tom is okay and asks what he was thinking about while the guy is trying to come to his senses. Realizing that all his ideas were just a figment of his imagination, the main character tries to justify himself by saying that he was thinking about how to found a charitable foundation. Vanessa considers Tom a good person and sincerely thanks him for such a generous donation. The guy asks if the girl really asked him to come here just to thank her. Vanessa explained that if they communicate in public places, bad rumors might spread. So she had to ask him to come here, and the girl was very sorry that she disturbed the guy. Tom says that everything is fine, but his little dream of a forest grove is destroyed. Suddenly, Ron appears in the lover's forest, declaring that Tom really was able to win Vanessa's heart. The main character, covering the girl with his hand, asks what Ron wants. The guy hands Tom the transfer and share agreement. If the guy doesn't sign it, he will meet his death today. The main character, having taken the contract in his hands, quickly tore it up. The guy says that Ron should not even dream about it, and he will never sign the contract. Ron's assistant helps him light the cigarette in his teeth, while the guy tells Tom to think about it. Ron asks if the protagonist's uncle and sister are still in the hospital. Tom thinks in horror that this guy knows. Ron says that now the guy should get it, and he must sign the agreement. If the main character does not sign the contract, then all his relatives will be dead. Ron begins to list all the people Tom cares about. Unable to withstand such pressure, the main character attacks the guy. However, Tom is quickly stunned with a bat by the guy Ron came with. The guys quickly start kicking the main character. Vanessa stands up for Tom, shielding him with herself and declaring that she will call the police. However, the guys are not at all bothered by the girl's statement and they mock her. Clutching Vanessa from all sides, they invite her to have fun with them. The girl in tears asks for help. The beaten protagonist stands up and declares that he is ready to sign the contract. The guy demands that he be given this contract to sign. Scoffing, Ron says that the guy should have agreed earlier and hands him a piece of paper. Signing the contract, the main character says that this time the guy was lucky and asks how he knew that he was here. Ron replies that they have infiltrated many people into Tom's circle. The main character asks if the guy was involved in the accident and street fight, to which he receives a positive answer. Tom says that Ron made good plans to take his shares. Jubilant, Ron declares that he was able to pull it all off thanks to his father's advice. The main character hands the signed contract to the guy. However, the agreement on the transfer of shares did not contain Tom's signature, but only gratitude for the fact that Ron told all his plans, as well as insults to the guy. Ron is angry that the main character deceived him and orders his subordinates to kill the guy. Tom asks the system to provide him with medical assistance. The system activates a rage potion. A blinding light begins to emanate from the main character, and the guys who are ready to attack Tom do not understand what is happening. The main character, who is on fire, declares that the boys will die first. Guys does not take the main character seriously, stating that he is cosplaying Bruce Lee or parodying Jackie Chan. One of them states that Tom is just bluffing and won't do anything to them. A luminous ball appears in the hands of the main character, which is surrounded by lightning. The guys claim that Tom just reread the comics and they can kill him no matter what. Having formed a fireball, the main character releases it away from the attackers. A glowing huge beam from the guy's hands demolishes everything in its path. The main character's ability leaves nothing alive in its path. The guys lie defeated on the dead ground after the blow. The blow was also painful for Tom. The system explains that the guy released too much energy in one blow, and it was hard on his body. The main character wonders where Ron is, and the system points to a guy who was sitting on his knees in complete shock. Tom approaches the guy and demands that he provide all the evidence of his crimes and the crimes of his father. Otherwise, he will face serious punishment. However, Ron states that he will never rat out his father. Tom laughs at the guy's statement, saying that it is touching, but there is one problem. The guy recorded Ron's confession on a tape recorder. While Ron says that he will tell him everything, the main character states that he gave the couple a chance, but they missed it. Tom states that it is too late to do anything now. Ron looks in horror at the evil face of the protagonist, foreseeing his punishment. Harry hears someone screaming in the direction of the forest, but Rick claims that it was his toy. Vanessa runs worriedly towards Tom, screaming his name. She asks if the guy is okay and says that the police have already arrived at the scene. The main character says that everything is fine with him, and he has already sorted everything out, while the girl asks again if he really managed it on his own. Tom fingers Ron, who is sitting in shock near a tree. The girl admires the main character, saying that he is amazing and eliminated everyone himself. The guy states that it's nothing and he didn't even use his full power. Vanessa asks Tom to take her home so he can show her his true power. The guy was very embarrassed by her proposal and blushed deeply. However, their conversation is interrupted by Captain Kick, who was informed about the robbery. The main character did not expect to see the captain here, and asks if there's really only one policeman in the whole city. Kick also did not expect to see Tom here. The captain asks where the suspects are, suggesting it might be the guy, but Vanessa defends Tom. The girl points her finger at Ron, saying that he wanted to hurt Tom and her. When Ron wakes up, he notices that there is a policeman nearby and wants to make an accusation. The guy says that the main character attacked him and his friends, causing severe damage to the most important place. Ron said that the guy used the power of a hero from a manga, and he must be an alien invading planet Earth. Captain Kiku got tired of listening to this nonsense and ordered his subordinates to take the guy away. Tom states that he has a gift for Kick. The guy hands the captain Ron's phone, in which he can find many interesting things. The captain looks in horror at the information in the phone that the main character gave him. The guy says he'll leave it to Kika, heading towards Vanessa. Suddenly, the man grabs Tom by the arm, saying that the guy needs to follow him to the station for something very important. The main character does not want to follow the captain because he planned to accompany Vanessa home. But Kik does not intend to listen to anything. The next day turned out to be very sunny and clear, illuminating Tom's villa with bright light. Tom spent the whole night at the police station and slept only a few hours. The guy didn't have time to fully wake up when Jessica was already standing in front of him with a tray of food. Edward and Tim, who intends to tell the hero something. Tom didn't expect to see so many people in his room early in the morning. The lawyer reports that a meeting of the board of directors will take place today. The guy smirks as he talks about how he could have forgotten about such a thing, and it looks like everyone is motivated. Tom decisively declares that he is ready to fight today. The main character is met by beautiful young secretaries who immediately began to discuss how handsome and rich the guy is. Tom, in a black coat, accompanied by a security guard and a lawyer, heads to a meeting. The system notices that people are very interesting, and now that the guy has money, everyone loves him. Pixie tells Tom to wait until he becomes the biggest investor, then he will be loved even more and the guy can live a luxurious life. But the main character declares that he does not need this. While the system looks at him with misunderstanding, Tom explains that he doesn't want to become trash like Ron, and when the company is taken over completely, he will use his wealth to help society. The system completely stopped understanding the main character. Pixie says that these words coming from a guy do not seem believable at all, but Tom gets angry, saying that he is serious. Suddenly, their conversation is interrupted by someone calling the main character. Sean states that he has found support, so the main character needs to prepare for death, and after today, he will become a beggar again. Edward quickly comes to Tom's aid, chasing Sean and his new girlfriend away. A beaten Sean and his girlfriend declare that at least he had a chance to show off. The main character, accompanied by a security guard's lawyer, appears in front of the meeting room. Tom asks the lawyer to give him the file, and one will be enough. The main character tells the man to just trust him and go do what you told him. The lawyer has to agree to his boss's demands. In the meeting room, people stared at Tom with unfriendly looks. At the head of the table sat Tim, who was surprised by the guy's courage because he came today. Ron wrote to his father that Tom wants to sign the contract face to face. Even though Dan doesn't know what the main character is up to, he won't let it slip away from him. The man has already collected shares of the company, and the CEO is also on his side. Dan intends to destroy the main character today. Tom greets those present in the conference room in a friendly manner. However, the men do not pay any attention to the main character. The guy understands that they are on Dan's side, and this makes his task much more difficult. The man extends his hand to Tom as a sign of greeting and friendliness. The man introduces himself as Sebastian. The atmosphere in the hall is extremely tense and oppressive. Sebastian, not paying attention to those around him, with a friendly smile declares that they have gathered today because a new shareholder has joined them. Pointing his hand at the main character, the man greets him. Colleagues are clearly not happy to see the new shareholder, and believe that the guy is already dead today. Dan interrupts Sebastian's greeting and states that he has something to say about Tom. The man states that just a few days ago the main character had neither money nor status. But now he has become the largest shareholder of the company, and he has $100 million in his account. And Dan has investigated this case and is ready to make a verdict. The man claims that Tom embezzled money from their company. The action that the main character committed, according to Dan, is a crime. But thanks to his kindness, the man will not report the guy to the police. However, the man has conditions Tom will have to give all his shares to him. Sebastian believes that Dan is too ambitious, and the protagonist's shares are worth more than $10 billion. Sebastian decides that he cannot allow the man to carry out his evil plan. The man, with a friendly smile on his face, tells Dan that this is a serious charge, and he must have solid evidence. However, the main character interrupts Sebastian's attempts to intercede on his behalf, saying that it is useless. Tom says that given that Dan is the president of the company, he has already made the perfect plan to expose the guy, and today Tom arrived at the meeting only to transfer his shares to the man. Dan is glad that he was able to defeat the main character, calling him a smart boy. However, Tom states that he has no intention of transferring all his shares to the man. The guy opposite says that Dan should bring all his shares to him. The man grins at the protagonist's statement, saying that he will only do this in the guy's dreams. Dan receives a notification from his son on his phone that he is being held hostage by the main character, and the man is obliged to bring all his shares to Tom. Dan grinned, claiming that he understood everything. The man has completely lost his mind and begins to stare at the absurdity of the situation. Dan declares that the main character should not even hope that he will give up everything for his idiot son. Tom starts yelling at the man, saying that his phone has all the evidence of Dan and his son's crimes. In response to the protagonist's statement, the man only grins, claiming that the guy can do whatever he wants. Dan states that if the guy does what he has planned, he will tell the police that Tom stole the phone from his son and falsified this evidence. The main character will not be able to do anything, because there is a crowd of lawyers behind Dan's back. Colleagues in the conference room are on President Dan's side, claiming that it was all Tom's doing. panic grips the main character, and the guy comes to the conclusion that the man is a tough nut to crack, unlike his son. Dan appears in Tom's eyes as a true devil. The guy understands that in just a little while the end will come for him. The whole company is on Dan's side, but the main character is completely alone. This does not at all meet his expectations. Suddenly, Tom's gaze falls on a shaven-headed guy who is buried in his phone. A ray of hope appears in the eyes of the main character. Perhaps he has a new plan. However, a folder with a contract for reshaping shares falls right in front of the guy's face. Dan confronts Tom, demanding that he sign the contract immediately or face serious consequences. The main character tries to stall the time, arguing that the transfer of shares is a very important matter, and perhaps they should discuss it with other members of the company. Dan just laughs at the guy's statement, claiming that everyone present here is on his side. Tom grins, saying that he wants to show his colleagues something interesting. The men began to look at the screen, on which Tom began to show a photo. In the photo, there was a beautiful girl in daring clothes, and in the background stood the shaven-headed guy whom the main character had looked at earlier. The guy who happened to be in the photo flared up with rage, asking where Tom got the photo of his wife. But the main character declares that it was not he who took the photo of the guy with his wife Tom, found this photo in Dan's phone. The man begins to get angry, claiming that the main character will not be able to quarrel with his colleagues, but Tom declares that this is not all that he wanted to show. The next photo was of Ron with the shaven-headed guy's half-naked wife. The guy did not expect to see his wife in the arms of another, and is ready to explode from an excess of emotions. Colleagues begin to mock the guy, declaring that he is now a cuckold. However, Tom interrupts the men's ridicule by saying that this applies to everyone. The guy starts sending men compromising photographs of their naked wives and girlfriends. Guys can't cope with the emotions of betrayal and humiliation, and wonder if there is anyone's wife or female family member who is not included in these photos. It turns out that everyone in the room is a cuckold. The guys direct their anger towards Dan, whose son is involved in all the photographs. They declare that they will help the main character defeat the man and put him in prison. The guys attack Dan, saying that he is a terrible father if he allows his son to do such things. Tom stands aside for now, coming to the conclusion that events have taken an unexpected turn. The guy thinks he really owes Ron this time while looking at his phone. Handing Dan a contract for the transfer of shares, the main character states that the man must be ready to sign, because all his colleagues stood against him. The president has to sign the piece of paper that Tom gave him, and he begs the guy not to report anything to the police. The main character declares that he knows how to keep his word, and as soon as he returns, he will free his son. Tom asks the system to restore the task of acquiring the company's president's shares, to which Pixie replies that it will cost 10 points. However, this is not a problem for the guy, and as a result, the system sets the task of the main character. A system window pops up in front of the guy, showing that the hero has successfully completed his task, raised his level, and acquired new artifacts. However, his colleagues do not intend to forgive Dan. The man says that now he has nothing, but he will ask his son to pay moral compensation to everyone. Men come to the conclusion that there is no point in taking revenge on the man, because everything is really his son's fault. However, Dan does not feel any remorse at all. He's going to lie low to clean up the evidence Tom has of his crimes. After the man deals with his problems, he plans to destroy everyone in the room. Suddenly, Dan's thoughts about future revenge are interrupted by his son, who was covered in tears and snot calling his father. The man didn't expect to see Ron here today. Dan thought that his son was being held hostage by the protagonist, but Ron said that everything was wrong, and Tom simply handed him over to the police. The touching reunion between father and son is interrupted by a man's voice calling out to Dan. Captain Kick appears in front of the man, who states that Dan is suspected of involvement in several commercial crimes. Kick asks the man to follow him to the police station. Dan yells at the main character because he promised not to hand him over to the police, but Tom claims that he didn't do this. He just gave Ron's phone as evidence. Tom states that if anyone confirms Dan's crimes, he will go to prison. Ron apologizes to his father for confessing everything, until the man understands how to control his anger. Dan punches his son in the face, declaring that he will kill him. One of the men nearby tries to stop Dan from beating his own son. The man states that Ron is an important witness and should not be beaten while the guy is trying to sneak away from his father. However, Ron is unable to quietly leave. The guy is stopped by the men whose wives the guy was having fun with. The men intend to take revenge on Ron for his actions until he realizes what exactly he did wrong. After a hard day, the hero is greeted by a luxury hotel, which indicates the status of its guests. Tom celebrates his victory over the company president by having a drink with Edward and Tim. The guy suddenly notices that Jessica is not present at the meeting, but the guard explains that the girl went to change clothes to surprise Tom. The main character took Edward's phrases "change clothes" and "surprise" strangely. Two beautiful ladies in luxurious outfits and impeccable makeup notice the main character. The girls know who Tom is. The guy is their type, rich and lonely. The red-haired girl is sure that once she gets the guy, she will become a rich lady while her friend pushes her to take action. The girls immediately surrounded the main character, inviting him to drink with them. Tom dismissively replies that he's a little busy right now, but the girl does not intend to back down, declaring that in this case, they should hurry up. Suddenly, someone else appears in the hall, attracting the attention of everyone present. Jessica appeared before the main character in a magical dress and beautiful hairstyle. The girl seemed to have stepped out of a fairy tale. The guys in the audience immediately turned their attention to Jessica, assuming that she was a superstar or possibly an angel. The girl approaches Tom, who cannot take his eyes off her. Jessica says she arrived here for the guy's return and asks if he likes her in that dress. The girls who were trying to get the main character's attention flared up with anger when they saw Jessica, who ruined their plans. Tom quickly pushes the annoying ladies away from him. After which the main character carefully took Jessica's hand, stretching it towards him. He stood in front of her, claiming that he really liked the way the girl looked. Tom said that he liked Jessica even more than her dress. The girl was very embarrassed by the main character's compliment. They began to reach out to each other in the hope of a kiss. However, suddenly Vanessa appears in the hall, interrupting Tom and Jessica from enjoying each other. Vanessa states that she heard that the guy was throwing a party, and since the girl was nearby, she decided to drop by to visit Tom. The main character did not expect to see the girl here, and still continues to hold Jessica's hand. Vanessa asks Tom who is this girl standing next to him. Tom tries to justify himself, saying that the girl is just an employee from his office, realizing that if Vanessa finds out that Jessica is his personal assistant, she will most likely kill him. Jessica's heart broke after hearing that in the protagonist's heart, she was still just an employee. Tom tries to justify himself to Jessica, but suddenly the system appears behind him. Pixie friendly reminds that if Vanessa does not have feelings for the guy, then his task will not be counted. Tom is horrified by such a statement from the system. Jessica, Vanessa, and Tom remain standing in silence. Vanessa decides to break the silence by asking Jessica what she's doing around her boyfriend. Jessica replies that she is the protagonist's personal maid, and they live together. From such a statement, Vanessa fell into a stupor, while behind her everything was burning with anger. The system warns Tom that the girl's feelings for him hardly exist. The main character does not understand what to do, because his task has not yet been completed, and for this, he faces severe punishment. The system says that the guy can still explain to the girl what is happening because men's mouths are full of lies, and Tom accepts the system's offer. The main character wrote on the sign that he lives on the top floor, and Jessica on the bottom, and they do not sleep together, showing this inscription to Vanessa to justify himself. Vanessa cooled down slightly when she heard from Tom that the girl was an ordinary maid and nothing more. However, Jessica interrupted the girl, saying that she was not an ordinary maid and she needed to wear a uniform. Imagining the girl in an erotic nurse's uniform, Vanessa flared up with anger again. Tom tried to justify himself with a sign that this was the usual uniform for a maid. Looking down and sighing heavily, the girl said that she was surprised. Jessica again entered the conversation, saying that in addition to the uniform, she gives the guy a special massage, but given that she is not good at this, Tom gave her a book. While showing Vanessa her book, Jessica complained that the technique was difficult to learn. The main character was speechless when he saw the girl holding the book he gave her. Vanessa's feelings fell again, and approaching the guy, she stated that she did not know how lustful Tom was. The guy fell to his knees in front of the girl with a sign, where he wrote that he didn't do anything like that. Feigning his very innocence, Tom asked Vanessa to believe him. The girl comes to the conclusion that it looks like Tom is innocent of anything, and Jessica is just trying to infuriate her. The girls do not intend to give the main character to each other, and are ready to fight for the guy. Tom notices that Jessica and Vanessa are burning with anger. The system, which appeared next to the main character, congratulates him on the fact that Vanessa's feelings have returned. Suddenly, a man appears on stage in the hall and apologizes for keeping those present waiting. The guy on stage declares that now is the time to dance. The girls instantly stood opposite the main character, looking at him hungrily. Jessica and Vanessa invite Tom to dance with them. The main character does not know where to go, what not to make a choice between girls. And at this time, the system disappears, throwing Tom to the mercy. The guy orders himself to calm down, because all playboys go through this, and the more difficult the situation, the faster he needs to come to his senses. Tom compares the situation to a game where you have to act wisely to get a happy ending. In the eyes of the guy, everything really turns into a game and he is greeted by the main menu. Tom decides to start with the normal level of the game. The hero is faced with a situation in which all the girls have invited him to dance and he needs to make a choice. The guy decides to choose Vanessa to test the level of her friendship. Tom gets the ending where he went dancing with Vanessa and Jessica got upset and quit her job as a maid. However, the ending has a continuation, in which Jessica comes to the main character on a rainy night. The girl asks the guy to go with her, but Tom refuses her, fearing that Vanessa might see them. Jessica replies that she will take Tom in pieces and no one will know. A chainsaw appears in the girl's hands, with which she is ready to dismember the guy. For the main character, this is a terrible ending that he cannot allow. Tom tries to do something different, and, returning to the beginning, chooses Jessica to dance. They danced so happily while Vanessa was left standing alone, feeling so sad. Vanessa, with a luscious smile on her face, declares that Jessica and Tom are simply made for each other. The main character apologizes to the girl, saying that he will ask her to dance next time. But the girl replies that everything is fine, saying that she is going to play golf now, and asks the guy to lend her a ball. Tom doesn't understand what the girl is talking about, but without waiting for an answer, she hits the guy between the legs with a club. Lost in despair for a while, Tom made up with Ron and created a rap group with him called Boys Without Balls. They became very popular. This ending also does not suit the main character. The girls stand in front of the guy in bewilderment, still waiting for an answer from him as he plays out various scenarios. Jessica and Vanessa demand that the guy choose who he will dance with. Tom doesn't understand what to do because in any case he will die. Suddenly the guy's gaze falls on Edward, who is standing nearby. The main character chooses a security guard as a dance partner. Tom ends up getting the best ending by dancing with his bodyguard until dawn while the girls stood on the sidelines. The main character, sitting in the men's room, reflects on the difficulties of surviving harem kings in girls' games. Also thinking about the events that happened to him earlier, Tom comes to the conclusion that he should avoid two people who bring him discomfort. His plans fall through when the system notifies him that he doesn't have enough credits for graduation, causing him to suddenly have a hard time remembering his studies. The system nearby does not understand Tom's worries, especially since he is rich and does not have to worry about studying. The idea that the rich don't need to study is not clear to Tom, but the system explains that the purpose of education is to make money. So if you have the means, education loses value. Money is the main priority in this society. The wealthy achieve everything faster and easier. Being an uneducated rich ignoramus was not part of his plans. After all, Tom promised his dying mother that he would become a well-educated person. The system perceives the principles of the protagonist with condemnation and misunderstanding. However, the guy is already fired up with enthusiasm and promises himself to work harder. But the fiery speech is interrupted by the system's remark that Tom forgot to wipe his butt, which angered and embarrassed the hero. However, at the university, the hero's enthusiasm quickly evaporates after tedious lectures. Studying was never easy for Tom. Seeing the guy's exhaustion, the system offers its help for points. For just 20 points, Tom can get a memory elixir and a speed boost, which will make studying much easier. Seeing a short and easy way to solve problems, Tom quickly agrees to the proposal. The opportunity to become a genius without any effort evokes vivid emotions in a guy. But the main character is interrupted by a classmate sitting behind him, who does not like the noise coming from Tom. But Michael's comment about the noise was inappropriate because the couple had not yet started, which is what Tom says. For Michael, his studies come first. He values every hour of the educational process because the guy strives to become a real genius. Michael is dismissive of Tom and throws insulting phrases about his worthlessness. Tom can't just let the humiliation come his way. The guy offers to have a competition. He claims that he is smarter than Michael and will beat him academically. Having heard about the dubious competition between Tom and Michael, classmates were skeptical about this. Moreover, the main character had a reputation as a local tyrant, and Michael was a master of knowledge. Such gossip hurts the main character. The guy has principles according to which he does not intend to use his funds for such purposes. Michael perceives the offer of competition as a joke because he knows about his genius, to which the main character replies that he simply intends to compete with Michael. Michael has no choice but to agree because he is confident of his victory and hopes to humiliate Tom. The essence of the test is that after a week, each subject will take a test in class. The results will be determined based on these tests. The loser will have to voluntarily withdraw from school. Such punishment shocks the guys in the group, but Michael's cruelty is explained by the fact that he was in love with Jessica, who paid attention to Tom and not to him. Michael takes Tom weakly. The main character gets angry and says that he will definitely win in a week so that Michael doesn't turn up his nose. However, to say one thing and do another, Tom does not understand at all what is written in the textbook. The volume of tasks assigned leads the guy to despair, not to mention the fact that the hero must bypass the school's smart guy. The system notices the guy's panic. She again makes a proposal that will quickly solve the guy's problem. But for Tom, using elixirs is cheating and he has no intention of using them. Tom's mother taught him from childhood that he should rely only on his own strength if a guy uses elixirs. Then he will not live up to her hopes. The system gets angry with Tom, calling him a fool. If Tom loses the competition, he will have to drop out of school, which will anger his mother even more. So he must drink the elixir so as not to let her down. Realizing the prospect of losing, Tom agrees to take the elixir from the system. Tom's torment is interrupted by a beautiful girl who offers him tea. The main character worries why Jessica is awake so late, to which she responds that she wants to encourage him in his studies. The main character is not at all the type to study, and Jessica's support frustrates him even more. However, the girl believes that Tom's efforts will not be in vain, and the guy will definitely cope with everything. Jessica offers to sit with Tom, and the guy in love agrees. However, the girl's curvaceous form distracts him from work. Tom quickly has to refuse because he doesn't think he's capable of studying next to a girl all this time. Jessica doesn't impose herself and leaves the room. Tom is left alone with the elixir, which beckons him. The guy will have to make a difficult choice. The main character is exhausted after intense preparation for his studies. He hasn't slept all last week and drank a lot of energy drinks to continue studying. Although he could have just taken the easy way out, but he decided to rely on his own efforts. The system believes that Tom will definitely lose. The teacher, Mr. Paul, comes into the office. His appearance causes tension in the group. Everyone immediately falls silent. For today's lesson, we had to read Francis Bacon's famous essay on knowledge by science. Mr. Paul is cruel to students who do not comply with his demands. On knowledge by sciences is too long. It is impossible to remember it word for word. The teacher's demands are too high for college students. The guys assume that Mr. Paul's cruelty may be caused by his losing another game of chess, and the teacher just wants to vent his anger. Despite his fear and unpreparedness for a couple of classmates, Michael is ready to answer. The guy has a good reputation with Mr. Paul, and he even sets him up as an example for the group. Michael retells Bacon's essay flawlessly, quoting passages. His answer shocks his classmates. It's not for nothing that he is the master of studies. No one can compare with him. Mr. Paul compliments Michael on his mastery of the material. However, the guy does not accept the praise, noting that there is someone in the class who can freely read this essay backwards. The genius Michael is talking about turns out to be Tom, who almost falls asleep during the class. The guy doesn't understand at all where he is and what he's doing. His head is empty. Tom missed all of Mr. Paul's classes, and his appearance in today's class surprises the teacher. Mr. Paul asks Tom if he can really read an essay backwards, but the guy only falls asleep when asked by the teacher. Mr. Paul finally loses his temper because of the disrespect for his subject. Tom, the guy, has no right, after missing all the lectures, to also sleep right in class. The angry teacher decides to teach the main character a lesson and heads straight to his place. Mr. Paul threatens Tom that if he doesn't read his essay backwards today, he will fail the class. But Tom just falls asleep, muttering under his breath that the teacher is an idiot. Mr. Paul, unable to bear such rudeness, raises his ruler to teach the guy a lesson. But Tom catches her with 2 fingers before she can hit him. The main character explains his behavior by saying that he was regaining his strength. However, Tom can now start reading. The guy read Francis Bacon's essay backwards flawlessly. Michael clearly did not expect such a brilliant performance from Tom. Mr. Paul was also in shock. The reading was completed, and everyone in the class was amazed at Tom's knowledge. It was incredible. My classmates couldn't believe that Tom could be both rich and smart. Taking this opportunity, the main character could not help but poke fun at the teacher. Confused, Mr. Paul praised Tom, noting that even he couldn't read the essay backwards. Michael was not prepared for such humiliation. Tom showed his true strength. This time it was a draw, but Michael decided to beat Tom at all costs at the next lesson. Their competition continued in English. The guys fought equally, not wanting to give in to each other. In chemistry, Tom and Michael turn into alchemists who test the power of their potions on each other. On the law, the guys are transported to the courtroom, where they prove laws and rules. In history, Michael and Tom fought like samurai. Michael had no intention of losing to Tom, declaring that he was biting off more than he could chew. But Tom noted that he was doing just as well as the maester. Michael states that before these items become too easy, maybe they can actually play. In the afternoon, there will be a math test, which the boys must write with the maximum score. Anyone who receives a lower grade will have to run 10 circles around the body with the inscription break on the sign. Losing would be too humiliating for both. Not wanting to give in to Michael, Tom accepts his challenge. Tom's efforts were not in vain, and he is confident that he will write the math test with the highest score. However, the last task turns out to be too difficult. The guy was not ready for it. Mr. Smith, the math teacher, reports that the group has done a good job, and he is ready to announce the results. All but one student failed the last question. Unsurprisingly, the genius who received the highest score turns out to be Michael. The guy is already anticipating the taste of victory, imagining how Tom will run around the building with a shameful sign. After so many battles, Michael is beside himself with joy from the long-awaited victory. He simply cannot help but gloat over Tom, reminding him of his punishment. Mr. Smith takes the boy's argument as a joke and tries to calm Tom down. However, the guy convinces the teacher, saying that this is his agreement with Michael. Tom proudly accepts the loss because, as a university student, he cannot simply renege on his words. The protagonist notes that he believes that if Michael had lost, he would have done the same thing. The guy agrees with Tom, saying that he will also accept any punishment if he loses. Suddenly for Michael, Tom asks him to carry out his punishment now. The guy doesn't understand why he has to do the task for the loser because he got the highest score. But Tom explains that the one who received the highest score will be a loser. Michael's loss is explained by the fact that the last task cannot be solved. Michael, sensing something is wrong, attacks Tom, claiming that he simply cannot accept that someone is better than him. However, classmates also noticed that the last task was impossible to solve. Seeing doubts in the group, Mr. Smith decides to double-check the assignment for an error. It turns out that indeed one of the conditions of the task was incorrect. This fact shocks Michael, who has already tasted victory. Tom notes that it is somehow strange that Michael knew the right answer to the wrong task. Michael, sensing that his deception may be about to be discovered, explains that he knew the answer simply because he's a genius. But such an excuse clearly does not suit anyone, and Michael is showered with insults from all sides because of his deception. A respectable man enters the office and interrupts all the noise with his appearance. Mr. Smith, like the rest of those present, did not expect to see Mr. John now. It turns out that the unexpectedly appeared teacher is Michael's uncle. The guy immediately begins to complain about Tom to his uncle, accusing the main character of his numerous omissions and slander. However, Mr. John cuts off Michael's indignation, claiming that he knows how things are. His menacing appearance and the statement that he will figure everything out on his own makes Tom tense. Hearing Mr. John's name, all the students begin to tremble. There are rumors that the man served in the Special Forces for several years and received the nickname Devil in a suit. Who would have thought that this demon is Michael's uncle? It seems that it was thanks to him that the guy wrote the test with the maximum score. Having learned information about the relationship between Michael and Mr. John, Tom realizes that he is close to victory. The teacher clarifies about Tom's absences. Absence from class threatens the guy with expulsion. Michael mocks Tom, rejoicing that his uncle will finally throw the guy out of the university. Mr. John makes a statement on behalf of the faculty, given Tom's violations. To the surprise of everyone present, the guy will not be expelled. Tom also doesn't understand what he did to deserve such kindness from the teacher. But seeing Tom's misunderstanding, Mr. John explains his decision. For the last week, the main character attended all the classes, studied hard, and passed all the exams well. For these reasons, Tom will not be excluded. However, this is not yet a reason to be proud. Tom will have to continue to study just as hard to achieve the same good results. Mr. John's appearance turned out to be deceiving. He does not look like the devil at all. Michael does not understand why Uncle John is not on his side because they are relatives, and therefore the truth should be on his side. The guy believes that Tom should pay for his actions, and his uncle should help him achieve justice. Mr. John's patience is running out, and Michael is ready for his uncle to punish Tom according to his deserts. However, his uncle's anger is directed not at Tom, but at Michael. The guy flies into the wall, feeling the full wrath of Mr. John. Everyone present was shocked by the teacher's act, and Tom decided that Mr. John really was a demon. Michael does not understand what caused his uncle's reaction, but Mr. John claims that the guy knows what he did wrong. The man knew Michael was using his computer to get answers. He doesn't understand how their family could raise a cheating bastard like Michael. The guy's punishment does not end, and his uncle promises to punish him today according to all the rules of their family. Michael, realizing what awaits him, is filled with horror. The main character is relieved that he has been visiting all the classes lately because otherwise he would have received the punishment. Suddenly, Tom receives a message from his classmate Sean that at 8 in the evening there will be a meeting of classmates at Lewis's hotel, which Tom must attend. Lewis's hotel is an extremely rich place, and Sean is already awaiting Tom's arrival with a glass of wine. Someone calls out to Sean, noting that the guy has been hanging around here for several hours. The girl who distracted the guy from his thoughts is called Zoe. She is also Tom's classmate. Zoe notices that the guy is definitely waiting for someone, and not just enjoying the view of the city. The girl realizes that Sean cannot forget that incident, and therefore allowed Steve to call Tom. The guy's silence makes it clear that Clara has hit the nail on the head. Wendy, the girl Sean liked, chose Tom over him, which hurt the guy's pride. Sean becomes furious, remembering those two. He does not understand how a girl like Wendy could choose someone like Tom. Sean cannot just leave it like that and decides to take revenge on the main character. Walking into the meeting, Tom feels noticeably nervous. The guy remembers Wendy, who was the most beautiful girl in high school. He was even secretly in love with her, but never dared to confess his feelings to her. Tom remembers that now everything is different, and he's no longer that pale and weak guy. The main character lights up with enthusiasm. This time he will not miss his chance to propose to the girl. Entering the building, he meets Wendy after all this time. However, before she knows it, the girl crashes into Tom. After such sudden actions, she asks if the guy is okay. Tom and Wendy recognize each other, and there is a new romantic atmosphere between them. The guy notices that the girl has become even more beautiful over time. Wendy admits that she did not immediately recognize Tom, after which small talk begins between them, and the guy notices that the girl looks great today. Memories of their first meeting came flooding back to Wendy. The girl crashed into him in the same way as today. Tom is glad that Wendy remembers everything, because it means that the event is important for the girl. Tom remembers that they also ate her bento. He also remembers that he wanted to say something. Tom was about to start his speech about his feelings for Wendy. However, he is interrupted by Sean, who opened the door right into the guy, immediately starting a conversation with Wendy. The girl, noticing what happened to Tom, immediately runs to find out about his well-being. Sean, filled with jealousy, declares that everyone is already waiting for Tom. The guy introduces Tom and Wendy to his friends. Sean's friend has a negative attitude towards Tom, making fun of him in every possible way. The main character does not understand why. Instead of a party for classmates, there are only Sean's sixes. The guy understands that his friend is clearly up to something. Sean's friends quickly separate Tom and Wendy. One of Sean's six, remembering only that Tom was poor before, shows him a table filled with various expensive dishes. The table is bursting with all sorts of delicacies. Sean says that these luxurious dishes are ordinary for them, and he does not know whether Tom will like them, hinting at the poverty of the main character. Sean's friend teases the guy about how he can't choose because he's never tried anything like this before. Tom understands that these people want to humiliate him. Wendy tells the guys off for their mean attitude towards Tom. However, Sean's friends say that the girl is too vulnerable, and she shouldn't take everything to heart. Wendy also works herself up. Tom also reassures Wendy, saying that this is just a joke and should not be taken seriously. The guy can't let the girl get into trouble, but he'll take care of Sean's friends himself. Tom's thoughts are interrupted by Sean, who claims that he also finds these jokes inappropriate. Sean wants to apologize and order Tom the best Australian lobster, deliberately emphasizing its expensive price. But the main character responds to this that even his dog will not eat such a low-grade lobster. From such a confession, silence reigned in the hall. No one really expected such a statement from Tom. Sean's friends decided to make fun of Tom, sarcastically declaring that his family couldn't even afford a dog and there was no point in pretending to be something the guy wasn't. Stinging phrases fly at Tom from all sides. They believe that the guy should not forget who he was, and that going to university does not make him a billionaire. All these phrases take the hero back to the past, where he couldn't even afford normal clothes. Unable to withstand the pressure from others, Tom calls the waitress, who should remove such low-quality dishes and take Tom's new order. The guy decides to show off his wealth and treat his classmates, but they still don't take the guy seriously, claiming that he can't be that rich and has simply bitten off more than he can chew. Sean believes that the main character again wants to destroy his position with his stupid actions. While Tom orders the most expensive dishes, Sean is already preparing a plan to ruin the guy's life. The waitress accepts all the wishes of the main character and leaves. All conversations are abruptly interrupted by Wendy, who is worried about something. The girl must say something important to Tom. Taking the guy to a secluded place, she tries to reason with him, because it is not easy for him to earn such big money, and he should not spend all his money for the sake of arguing with such people. However, the guy calms Wendy down, claiming that she misunderstood everything. But the girl believes that the guy only wants to seem rich. Wendy supports Tom in everything, saying that he can be himself without any evidence. To calm the worried girl, Tom agrees to listen to her. Returning back to the hall, Tom declares that he was joking and that another order is not needed at all. This statement only confirms that the guys were right and Tom is not rich at all and continue to gloat over him. However, despite the joy of his friends, Sean is burning with jealousy. He cannot accept the fact that Wendy can pay attention to such a loser as Tom, and the guy considers their behavior simply ridiculous. Sean believes that Wendy should belong only to him. When the waitress comes to confirm the order, Tom asks to cancel everything, but the conversation between the two is interrupted by Sean. The guy claims that if Tom cannot pay for all this, then he will do it himself. Tom believes that all these statements will only bring trouble to Sean. However, the guy has not finished speaking yet and intends to make another statement today. Sean asks Wendy to marry him. These events shock Tom because he was the one who wanted to propose to her today. Sean's friends support him at such an important moment, saying that any girl would want to be with someone like him. Everyone tells Wendy to agree because they will be the perfect couple, but the girl is clearly not eager to marry Sean. Seeing Wendy's doubts, Sean says he knows the girl loved Tom in high school. If Wendy becomes his girlfriend, then he is ready to place Tom in his company, where he will receive a high salary. But by mentioning that the guy will work as the head janitor, he again makes Tom a laughingstock. Sean's friends burst into laughter again. Tom should not think twice about such a lucrative offer and must quickly thank Sean for this. Wendy, seeing all this ridicule of the man she likes, agrees to take Sean's ring. However, the girl is not at all going to accept the guy's proposal and throws the ring. She had already said once in high school that she didn't like Sean and would say it again. Wendy says she only loves Tom, so Sean needs to give in quickly. The girl's love knows no bounds, and she is ready to do anything for Tom. The guy cannot believe that everything that is happening is not a dream. Does Wendy really love him? This thought inspires Tom. Sean cannot come to terms with this state of affairs. He persuades the girl to accept his proposal, because with a status like his, Wendy will not need anything, and will definitely become happy. Sean's friends support him, claiming that if the girl were in his place, they would definitely accept the proposal. But Wendy is adamant. She is not ready to give in to the persuasion of others. The girl thinks that Tom is still better than Sean. When they were in high school, Sean had an excellent academic record, And besides, he had a wealthy family behind him. So many were in love with him. Wendy was not the same as the others. She did not care about Sean's status and wealth. She communicated with Tom, whom the guy despised most of all. From then on, Sean began to humiliate Tom and pester Wendy to be with him. Sean doesn't pursue the girl because he likes her. The guy also lied about inviting them to a high school reunion. In fact, Sean just wanted to make fun of Tom. Realizing that his plan is about to collapse, Sean becomes beside himself with rage. He can no longer tolerate the reproaches of the girl to whom he confessed his love a couple of minutes ago. Fury takes over the guy and he swings at Wendy. However, the attempt to hit the girl ends in the bud. Tom does not let the girl be offended. Such actions of Sean cause disgust and contempt in the main character. Sean doesn't understand when the guy managed to become so strong and brave. Their confrontation is interrupted by a man who unceremoniously bursts into the room. A cocky young guy is indignant because someone dared to take his room. The waitress tries to calm him down, saying that he shouldn't rush inside like that, where there are already guests. But the guy doesn't want to hear anything, because this is his favorite hall. Sean, seeing his friend Sid, who is higher than him in status, immediately changes and becomes helpful. However, Sid does not recognize Sean, to which the guy makes an excuse that one day he was lucky enough to have dinner with the guy's father. Sid recalls that his father said that he wanted to invest in Sean. If the guy wants to continue collaborating with them, then he better vacate the hall. But Sean says that he has an alumni meeting in this hall, and he cannot just vacate the hall, to which Sid threatens that his father may not invest in the guy, and Sean has to agree. Sid's attention suddenly turns to the beautiful Wendy. Compared to her beauty, his girlfriend was not even close. Believing that Wendy, like the others, is greedy for wealth, he invites her to watch a movie in his 800-meter villa. However, he is quickly interrupted by Tom, who is not happy that some major is pestering his beloved. Sid immediately recognizes Tom and is filled with horror in a split second. The guy can't believe that the main character can also be here. Now Tom is alone at the head of the company, and he can crush Sid like a fly. Seeing Sid's fear, Sean stands up for him, arguing that he should not touch his friend. However, Tom does not believe that they are really friends and asks Sean who his friend is. Sean claims that Tom will be scared to death after he finds out who his friend is. Sid is one of the major shareholders, Sean's investor and also his best friend. Sean's friends admire Sid's coolness. The guy thinks he stood up for Sid and definitely wants his approval. However, he gets hit instead. Sean flies away from a sharp and powerful blow from his friend Sid. The guy does not consider Sean his friend and does not intend to continue to tolerate this circus. Tom suddenly felt Sid's strong aura. Suddenly, the guy begins to turn into someone else, which surprises the main character even more. And the Emperor's servant appears before Tom, who immediately begins to apologize to the main character for slander and asks him to correct his mistakes. Having stopped Sean's stupid act, Sid starts a new one. The guy's behavior shocks Sean's friends because they clearly did not expect such an attitude towards Tom. Sid immediately apologizes to Wendy, calling her the Empress, which greatly flatters the girl. But Tom still does not understand Sid's attitude. Sean is also perplexed, claiming that Tom is not an emperor at all, but just his poor classmate. But Sid quickly interrupts the guy, noting that he thinks very narrowly. Sean's poor classmate turns out to be the second largest shareholder. Tom is rich, young, handsome, and promising. This statement completely kills Sean's friends, who had never given the guy any credit before. But Sean still can't believe that a poor guy like Tom can be a shareholder in such a large company. Sid stands up for Tom, declaring that Sean has no right to slander his emperor. But the main character interrupts Sid, saying that there is no need to use force against his classmate. Instead of brute force, playing the role of emperor, Tom suggests simply confiscating Sean's house. Sid takes this statement as a joke, but Tom gets annoyed when the guy doesn't take it seriously. Sean does not understand such impudence of the protagonist. This drama is interrupted by a phone call from Sean. While the guy was nervously discussing something, his friends were already starting to worry that his house would actually be taken away. But the news that was reported was much worse because he went bankrupt. Classmates cannot believe that because of one word from Tom, Sean could lose his money. Is the main character really the second largest shareholder of a rich company? Having learned about the prosperity of the main character, past classmates immediately changed their attitude towards him, sucking up in every possible way. But Sean was not so positive about the guy, because of Tom he went bankrupt and did not win the favor of his girlfriend, and therefore he does not intend to just leave this whole situation. But Sid does not offend his emperor, and is ready to protect him from the killer. Sean, realizing his mistake, falls to his knees and immediately begins to ask Emperor Tom for forgiveness. The main character clearly did not expect such an outcome of events. Everything that happens is more like a drama. Sean is remorseful. He should not have been so disrespectful to Tom and his Empress Wendy. Sean deserves to die for such acts. The guy claims that he dutifully served Tom for many years, but Tom doesn't remember this. The main character quickly gets bored with all this drama, and he refuses the role of the Emperor in this ridiculous scene. Tom says that from now on all their grievances are forgotten, and Sean better not come into his sight anymore. However, Sid and Sean do not intend to give up so quickly. They hope for Tom's mercy, and that in the future he will make them as rich as he is, which makes Tom angry and drives everyone away. Money is everything, so everyone leaves quickly so as not to anger rich Tom. Only Tom and Wendy are left alone. Since everyone has left, Wendy also thinks that she needs to return, but Tom has other plans. He wants to say something to the girl. The guy asks Wendy if what she said earlier was true. At first, the girl does not understand what Tom is talking about, but suddenly she remembers that not so long ago she confessed her love for Tom to everyone. This makes her blush. Not knowing what to do with her embarrassment, Wendy tries to make excuses that she was just angry with Sean. That's why she said it. But Tom interrupts the girl, remembering his past and the time when he had nothing. He admits that he did not dare to say just one sentence. But now everything has changed when the guy has the courage. He is finally ready to confess. However, the girl interrupts Tom, claiming that she is not mentally ready for this. The guy doesn't understand Wendy's sudden change of mood, much less where she's going. A guy hurries through the busy streets of Tokyo in the hope of finding a girl. Wendy disappeared in the blink of an eye. She was nowhere to be found. Suddenly, the guy again hears the girl's voice, which demands not to approach her. The guy understands that something is wrong and urgently needs to run to help. Wendy is scared. She doesn't want anyone to touch her. The girl was surrounded by guys. She wants to call for help, but they don't let her. They claim that they are good guys, but you can't tell from their appearance. One of them begins to pester Wendy. She tries to call for help. However, this shady guy claims that this will not help the girl, and no one will come to her aid, even if she loses her voice. At the same moment, the guy gets hit in the face. The blow would be so strong that he flies far to the side without a chance to get closer to the girl again. Tom immediately ran to help Wendy when he learned that she was in trouble. The guy carefully asks the girl if she is okay. Fortunately, he made it in time, and nothing happened to Wendy. However, everything does not end so simply, and the guy comes to his senses after a strong blow. This whole situation infuriates the guy, and he takes out a knife, threatening Wendy and Tom. The girl warns Tom that the guy has a bladed weapon, and that the best solution in this situation is to run away. However, such a trifle does not frighten the main character because they are just a bunch of losers, and it will be easy to deal with them. However, the red-haired guy is not going to give up and attacks Tom. There is energy in this knife. Tom did not expect this. The power of this weapon is incredibly strong, so much so that the main character has to react quickly to avoid getting hit. He cut an entire wall. The main character comes to the conclusion that this little bastard is definitely not an ordinary person. The attacking guy, after Tom dodged his blow, comes to the conclusion that the guy is also an unusual person. To ensure that Tom does not continue to pose a threat to the red-haired guy, he must be gotten rid of. Without wasting a minute, the guy makes the maneuver again. Averting disaster, Tom grabs Wendy and tells her to run. But that guy is too crazy to just let a couple go. He runs towards them with wild eyes, holding his powerful weapon in his hand. The knife instantly cuts through whatever is in front, creating a small explosion. But something is clearly wrong. The attacker does not understand why such a blow has so few consequences. Tom quickly managed to react, picking up the unconscious Wendy. The blow of the knife did not even hit Wendy and Tom, because the guy drank the elixir of speed to save himself and his beloved. Tom carefully puts the girl down to continue the fight with the guy. He's already ready to strike again. He doesn't understand how Tom was able to avoid his 3-second knife strike several times. It seems that the main character's speed is really not bad. But Tom interrupts the guy, claiming that he is simply too slow. This statement really hurts the guy's ego. The red-haired guy thinks he's the fastest guy in town. He swings again but misses again. The main character ends up right behind him, not giving the guy a chance to come to his senses. Strike again. The aggressive guy promises to cut the main character into small pieces. But his speed compared to Tom's speed is simply insignificant during the time the guy spends punching. The main character manages to take a selfie, get bored, and even make noodles. At the same moment, that same noodle flies into the face of the attacking guy. The broth for the noodles was very spicy and the guy was in pain from the burns. Tom dared to mock the guy, which angered him even more. His six come to the aid of the red-haired guy, who declare that they will show Tom their true strength. But this does not frighten the main character at all, because his speed is much higher than theirs. Tom's power is so great that he can easily stop time. Now the main character can properly mock the offenders. About the leader, Tom wipes the booger from his nose, then replaces his knife with a cactus. He places the other two guys closer to each other, also handing cacti into their hands. Next, Tom adjusts the angle at which they hold their new weapons. Instead of a cactus, he hands the other guy a metal pipe. The last surprise will fall right on the guy's head. With a snap of fingers, time starts moving again, and the guys come to life in the most ridiculous poses. They are absolutely broken by their loss. Tom cannot help but make a sarcastic phrase in such a situation. The three brothers had better slow down so as not to incur the same troubles. When the fight ends, Wendy comes to her senses. Tom is very concerned about her condition. The girl is very embarrassed. She is grateful that the guy came to her aid in time. Tom, seeing the girl's embarrassment, also blushes. And having chosen the best time in his opinion, the guy declares his love. Wendy blushes even more. Despite the fact that the guy had already tried to confess his love to the girl, she was still surprised to hear it. Tom has liked Wendy for a long time. He hopes that the girl will give him a chance. But Wendy is harmful, saying that he just can't admit his feelings, because first they need to get to know each other better. Tom understands the hint. He takes the girl by the hand, promising to show her a place where she would understand what he was like in his youth. The night covers the entire city. It conceals many secrets and stories. A city prison, a place for a variety of criminals, fraught with different destinies and their secrets. Ben and Bob, father and son, are sitting in the same prison. Bob reminds his father that he promised that a mysterious organization would save them tonight. Ben remembers his promise and promises his son that the organization is reliable and can definitely be relied on. This organization is very unusual. Some of its members can breathe fire, some can control water, some are super powerful, and some have invulnerability in their body. They are super people. Since they got down to business, then Ben and Bob will definitely be able to get out of prison. Bob asks his father if those people have the gift of clairvoyance and the ability to be invisible. Ben wonders how the guy knew about this. Did he really manage to tell this too? But Bob interrupts Ben, claiming that he has already seen all this nonsense in comics, and that he is a fool if he believes such things in reality. But Ben swears at his son, saying that he is ungrateful, and it was because of the guy that they ended up in such a place. If Ben hadn't ordered Bob to deal with Tom, this wouldn't have happened, and it's Ben's fault. However, their arguments are interrupted by someone's steps. Did the guards really hear them? However, this is not a guard at all, but a beautiful girl in a tight suit, who suggests that their target must be here somewhere. Ben and Bob are afraid that if the guards see that they are still awake, they will definitely get angry, and therefore they need to quickly hide under the blanket so that they will not be seen. All this time, the girl looks at them as idiots whom she still needs to use. With one movement of her fingers, she lifts these two into the air, and Bob and Ben, out of fear, themselves begin to call for the guards, whom they were afraid of a couple of minutes ago. However, the girl calms them down, claiming that all the people in this prison have passed out. Indeed, all the employees and prisoners are fast asleep. Ben is happy that the girl came to save them, and that he was right. Bob thanks his father for taking care of everything and finally getting them out of this place. However, the girl interrupts their happiness, saying that she did not come to save them. She showed up to take the one and only thing from Ben and Bob. Bob jokes that this girl wants to take his virginity, to which she replies that no one wants that. Ben gets angry, saying that's not why he ordered them, and that if she doesn't get them out of here, he'll write a bad review. However, the girl does not want to waste her precious time on such conversations. She activates her control ability, ordering her to capture the men and erase all memories of Tom. Ben and Bob are afraid of a monster with tentacles that is pulling them somewhere. After the magical entity disappears, releasing Bob and Ben, there is nothing left in their heads. They only mutter unrelated words. The girl expected such an outcome of events. She concludes that there is definitely something special about Tom. At the same time, Tom and Wendy are walking along the streets of the city. The girl took a beef pie to eat, which she definitely liked. Tom says that before, when he had no money, he often took these pies. Continuing his story about the past, the guy shows a dilapidated house, saying that he lived in it in high school. And next to it is a hot breakfast shop, the boss of which often treated Tom to buns. Uncle Peter walked nearby in rags, who still owed Tom 50 cents. The girl laughs at the guy's stories, to which he asks if he's wrong. But Wendy explains that all the way Tom was the only one talking like a child, which she thinks is cute. Tom feels embarrassed that the girl may already be tired of listening to him, but she convinces the guy of this, claiming that she is really interested. Suddenly, Tom is called out by an old woman whose voice is familiar to him. This old Megan is the local gossip in the area. She noticed that next to Tom there was a pretty girl with good character and manners, but the guy denied that Wendy was not his girlfriend. But Aunt Megan had already started asking about the wedding, the house, the children, family life. Tom, unable to withstand this interrogation, quickly runs away with Wendy by the hand, finally saying that he is going to save the earth from monsters. Megan noticed that the guy seemed to see a ghost, not realizing that someone was standing behind her. This someone was looking for Tom and easily found him in the area. The couple is also being watched by Clara, a girl who was recently in prison. She notices that there are too many people around for her plan and they could easily expose her. Clara hears a car drive up behind her and a beautiful blonde gets out. The girl emerges from the sports car not alone, but together with a fat guy who claims that riding in such a car in this alley is more exciting. Seeing this strange couple, Clara comes up with a new plan. Tom and Wendy continue their walk after escaping from the old lady. They see a poster for the movie Toilet Warrior Extraordinary Hacker. Wendy immediately recognizes this film and is very glad to see it again in the cinema, because she already watched it as a child. Tom, seeing the girl's interest, wonders what the film is about. The girl reveals that the film is about a warrior who used a plunger as a weapon to protect a princess from a mysterious group of assassins. Tom says it sounds pretty interesting and invites Wendy to watch it together at the cinema. However, suddenly a system that speaks of danger again invades the guy's life. Tom doesn't understand what the system is talking about, but it continues to say that the user is in danger and needs to escape. The main character still does not understand what the system means and asks to express himself more clearly, while a sports car is rushing towards them. Wendy quickly notices the danger the system was talking about and screams at Tom to run away. When a collision is imminent, the guy sees a car rushing towards him. Clara is driving a sports car and is already saying goodbye to Tom. However, the guy still manages to dodge at the very last moment, avoiding the blow. Wendy worries about Tom because he is very dear to her. However, the guy calms her down, saying that he's fine. But it's too early to relax because the car turns sharply towards Tom. Claire notices that the guy managed to dodge, but this is even better for the girl, because she still has the opportunity to have fun with him. Tom is still in shock. He was almost hit by a car. But the system explains that it was not an accident, and someone wants to kill Tom. The main character does not understand why they want to kill him because he did nothing wrong. But the system says that the girl is not an ordinary killer. She specializes in killing superhumans. Tom does not understand what kind of superhumans are, to which he receives the answer that the guy himself is a superhuman. The car catches up with Tom again, and the main character quickly asks the system for some props. But the system says that the girl cannot be dealt with simple props. Tom can only use sealed weapons. And the system hands the main character an artifact of the justice of the cursed goddess, a plunger. This was clearly not what Tom expected from an important weapon. He perceived this plunger as a mockery from the system, threatening to clear the system's brains. But she claims that this is not an ordinary plunger, but an artifact of a cursed goddess. While they were arguing, the car almost ran over them. Tom has no choice but to use the plunger. The car flies at full speed straight towards the main character, and the only thing he has is a strange weapon from the system. But Tom does not lose hope that this will help him survive and win. Suddenly, the same damned goddess appears, whose artifact is in Tom's possession. The bright trail resulting from the appearance of the goddess blinds Clara. Tom is also blinded by this light, but he notices that this thing really works. The car's gas stops working. The car stops right in front of Tom. Apart from this, almost nothing remains of the car. Only the wheels, steering wheel, and seat. The whole situation shocks Clara. She did not expect her plan to turn out this way. Tom is also surprised. Is this really the possibility of this plunger? In such a comical situation, Tom cannot help but joke that the girl was cursed by a plunger. All this seriously angered Clara. How dare the guy joke about her? She again promises to kill Tom. Wendy, noticing that the situation will not lead to anything good, tries to take the guy away. But Clara, noticing that they are about to escape, stops their attempt by using her powers again. Tentacles grow around Tom and Wendy, blocking all escape routes. Wendy does not believe that what is happening is real and assumes that this is all a science fiction film. But Clara tells the girl that this is far from science fiction. Everything that happens is nothing more than a horror movie. Wendy grabs one of the tentacles, thereby separating the pair. Clara found Tom's weak point by taking a girl from him who will not be so easy to free. Tom has power and Clara demands that he use it to win. But the main character does not understand what power the girl is talking about. Clara investigated and found out that Tom used a gas wave to defeat the opponents, and Tom had just stopped the car at high speed. It dawns on the main character that the girl perceives the power of the system as his own. If Tom fails to comply with Clara's conditions, his girlfriend will suffer. Clara wasn't bluffing with a snap of her fingers. Wendy's tentacles gripped the monster more tightly. The girl asks a worried Tom to save her. The main character becomes determined to defeat Clara at any cost. The girl notices that Tom caused a very weak flow of power. It seems to have weakened. Doesn't matter how weak a guy is as long as he has strength. Tom is obliged to die, and Clara uses a new ability. Seeing the girl's hostile attitude and her reception, the guy gets scared, covering his face with his hands. However, the attack does not reach Tom. A hole appears right under Clara's feet, which Tom informs her about. Clara accuses the main character of meanness because he stole the manhole cover right under her. The guy understands that the cause of these events is his almighty plunger. Wendy appears behind Tom, who has been released by the tentacles. The girl is interested in the condition of the main character. The tentacles disappeared after that woman fell into the sewer. Thanks to the plunger, Tom saved himself, and Wendy, he is so happy that he's ready to kiss him. However, the battle does not end, and Clara's hand appears directly from the sewer. The girl did not expect that Tom would dare to deceive her. She again flares up with hatred for the main character. Clara simply cannot give up her task and not kill Tom. But at that very second, she is hit by a car. Then the ball hits the girl right in the face. The evil dog also decided to harm Clara for her actions. And finally, the girl is finished off with a weight weighing 50 kilograms. Clara spins and jumps with her eyes closed. After which, the girl slips on a banana peel and falls into the sewer again. Tom, seeing this whole picture, comes to the conclusion that the goddess's curse is more powerful than a nuclear bomb. However, Wendy does not relax. Unlike Tom, she suggests that this crazy woman can get out of there again, and they should leave. But Tom calms the girl down, saying that this time Clara will not get out. But no matter how it is, Clara takes off from the sewer right behind the main character. The girl says that she will never give up, and if she cannot defeat Tom, she will lick his ass. Clara touched the guy to the depths of his soul with her tenacity. The girl uses her maximum force download ability, and the tentacles reappear behind her. These disgusting things are directed towards Tom. Clara goes completely crazy, ordering the tentacles to crush the main character for her. But Tom thinks he'd rather die than let those things touch him. The guy again asks for help from the goddess, and right in front of his nose, the tentacles stop. Clara does not understand what caused her power to stop. The girl suggests that the reason may be her bracelet, perhaps it is broken, blaming the logistics employees for this. Tom also notices that something is wrong with Clara's device. Perhaps this is also due to the goddess's curse. The girl's bracelet makes some strange sounds and vibrations. Finally, her tentacles begin to move again, and the girl orders them to crush Tom again. But instead of the guy, the tentacles capture their owner, not giving her a chance to move. Her power attacked the wrong person. The girl demands that the tentacles not touch her, but they don't stop, causing the girl even more discomfort. Toma watches all this time as the entity stretches the girl in the most revealing poses. The main character finds watching Clara a fascinating activity. Wendy notices that her boyfriend is looking where he shouldn't, reproaches him for this, but he quickly hurries the girl to get out of here. Clara, seeing everything, understands that Tom is about to run away. The girl can't be trapped by this useless thing. After she got rid of this ability, she appears again before Tom and Wendy. Clara thinks how dare Tom play with her, but the guy notices that she was playing with herself. Unable to withstand such humiliation, the girl takes a swing at Tom. But the guy distracts her attention by saying that the police are here. But there is only a fairy child behind, who promises to turn the girl into a pig. While Clara is distracted, Tom grabs Wendy's hand and runs away. But the guy is stupid if he thinks he can run away so easily. Clara's body has long been rebuilt. Her speed and strength are much greater than those of ordinary people. The girl is so fast that she doesn't even care about lightning. Wendy and Tom will not be able to escape her hand. But suddenly a police car appears in front of the girl. It was so unexpected that the girl did not have time to react and was knocked down. The police get out of the car and notice the girl who hit her. Tom recognizes Police Captain Kick, as does Captain Tom himself. Without hesitation, the main character reports that this woman tried to kill him, and she must be captured immediately. But the girl decides that this police is another trick of the guy. Clara attacks Tom, claiming that she is not stupid enough to fall for this trick again, but the girl is again wrong. Clara's attack is stopped before he can harm the guy. A girl is threatened by a police officer with a gun in his hand. Clara is surrounded, demanding to surrender immediately. Although this and the police, Clara is not afraid of them. But if they find out her identity, it will be quite problematic. The girl is ordered to put her hands behind her head and kneel. But Clara has a new trick brewing in her head that can save her. Once loaded, the energy shoe's maximum speed will reach 180 miles. The girl quickly takes off so that no one had time to figure out what happened. Realizing that the girl had run away, the police began firing pistols. But Clara is so fast that even bullets can't catch up with her. The police officer can't believe she can dodge bullets. The girl only says after that they are just a bunch of dirty policemen who will never be able to catch her. In response to such statements, the captain gives the order to get a secret weapon. His assistant pulls out a bazooka, surprising Tom. The bullet quickly reaches its target in the form of Clara. After the collision, an explosion appears. This time Clara is definitely defeated. The policeman reports to the captain that the target has been knocked out, to which he receives orders to clean up and take the target into custody. Tom notices what a coincidence it is that they met Captain Kick again and thanks him for saving him. But he stops the meaningless conversation, claiming that he has to ask the guy something. The captain wonders why this group of strangers is pursuing the hero. Tom does not understand what group of aliens Kick is talking about, but the captain explains that this is a mystical, dark organization. It consists of people who have abilities far beyond ordinary people, and they also possess highly technologically accurate weapons. The only purpose of this organization is to hunt and kill people with superpowers. Tom realizes that he is the target of such a creepy organization. The main character pretends to be a fool, not knowing what we are talking about. Does the captain really know about the system? However, Kick says he doesn't care and isn't going to ask Tom. Having completed his work, the captain leaves. Jessica calls Tom, and at the same time Wendy is very jealous of the guy. Jessica reports that something is wrong and there seems to be a thief at home. While the girl was in the shower, she heard the sound of glass breaking. Someone must have broken the window and climbed inside. While Jessica is talking to Tom, someone is standing behind her. Suddenly, a woman's scream is heard on the phone. This seriously scares the guy. Wendy realizes that something is wrong. Tom urgently needs to get home and Wendy is going to go with him. The couple quickly tries to find a taxi. The captain notices that it looks like Tom has become a target for the other team. Predicting disaster, Kik gives the order to immediately inform the action group to head to Tom's villa in case something happens. A special forces team with powerful weapons moves into place. Tom's house is under the cover of darkness, and you can't say that anything could have happened there. Tom and Wendy are sitting in the bushes right in front of the house, waiting for something. The girl asks why they don't just go inside, but the main character notices the darkness in the house. Besides, everything will be over if the bad guys attack them in the dark. The guy prides himself on his wariness and maturity, but Wendy is skeptical of Tom. But in fact, the guy simply doesn't know how to get inside and asks the system for help, to which it gives the guy special glasses. Tom puts on his glasses, glad that he found a way out of the situation. But wearing glasses is not at all what the guy expected to see. Tom looks at his large breasts, and the system warns about the detection of an unknown weapon, danger, etc. The main character clearly liked the spectacle. Wendy, noticing that the guy has a nosebleed, worries about him, but he says that he was just a little sick. The lenses were too close, that's why Tom had this angle. Now everything is fine. The main character sees Jessica and a bad guy in the house. He has a cannon in his hand, a similar powerful weapon that Clara used. Tom, seeing that Jessica is in danger, immediately runs into the house and Wendy follows him. Jessica doesn't understand what's going on, asking the intruder what he's going to do. The bad guy Tom imagined turns out to be a girl. She demands information from Jessica about the guy's whereabouts. But she doesn't have to wait long for an answer, because Tom is right behind her with a brick and a plunger in his hands. The guy intends to hit the criminal who broke into his house. However, the girl gets ahead of Tom, kicking him right in the face. Seeing the girl stretch and the way she strikes, one can assume that she has undergone special training. The girl's blow was so strong that the guy flies back. The brick with which he wanted to beat the girl flies into the switch, and the plunger goes straight into the hero's head. Jessica is worried about the condition of the young master who was injured while trying to save her. Wendy also does not remain indifferent to Tom. Both girls run up to the main character, worried about his injuries during the fall. But after they find themselves next to the guy, they notice each other. The girls don't have time to start the proceedings when Tom's attacker intervenes. Clarifying the guy's identity, she thought that the person who is the target of a group of foreigners should be at least powerful. But in the end, it turned out to be some kind of sucker. Having come to his senses, Tom covers the girls with himself so that if something happens, they do not get hurt. The guy doesn't understand who the girl standing in front of him is. Was it really she who tried to kill him earlier? Jessica tries to tell Tom something, but he tells her not to be afraid of anything. The guy will protect the girl at any cost. But this is not what the girl wanted to hear. Jessica still wants to ask her question. She asks about the girl and why Tom brought her home so late. Tom didn't expect such a question. He was clearly stupid when he brought Wendy, and also when Jessica was at home. Wendy also wonders why Jessica is in Tom's house without clothes, and also calls him master. The girls want to know what kind of relationship he has with them. Tom realizes that this is the end for him. The guy tries to turn his attention to the girl who broke into his house. He claims that he needs to focus on her for the sake of his lives. But Jessica and Wendy don't let up. They want to know the truth. Tom definitely won't jump off the topic, and the excuse that she's just a sister won't work. But their quarrel is interrupted by a pistol shot. Sensing danger, the girls lag behind the main character. The girl with the gun is Bella. She says she doesn't have time to watch them play out a damn love triangle. Bella came to warn Tom. She reports that someone is going to kill him. This news horrifies Jessica and Wendy. Tom asks if the girl is talking about a group of foreigners by any chance, to which she's surprised that the guy knows about them. The main character says that a group of foreigners sent an assassin after him, but he quickly dealt with them. Tom is proud of himself. He claims that they will never kill him. Bella, finding herself quickly behind the guy, just grins, saying that it will be very easy to kill the guy. Tom didn't expect the girl to be behind him so quickly. Bella says that with the guy's current abilities, they really want to kill him. They will hunt Tom at any cost. However, if the guy knows about this, then let him take care of himself. He and Bella will see each other again. Tom wants to know who the girl is and why she wanted to warn him. But suddenly the guy feels something. The first Special Forces group appears directly above him. Then the second team flies out of the window and also finds itself in position. The third team knocking down the door arrives at the place. All the teams surround Bella. Despite the fact that the girl is surrounded, she shows indifference and arrogance with all her appearance. In this entire crowd, Bella recognizes Captain Kik. The man looks cool among the SWAT team. Captain Kik also recognizes the girl and asks how she dared to appear in the city. Kik orders Bella to be caught immediately. But the girl just disappeared, leaving only her clothes. Tom was surprised that Bella was missing, but this was not the first time for the captain. They again allowed her to escape through teleportation. Tom suggests that if her clothes are here, then she teleported completely naked, imagining her image in detail. But Captain Kik interrupts the guy's perverted thoughts. Tom asks the captain how he ended up here. Was he really following him? To which Kik does not deny anything. The man claims that it was lucky for Tom that he followed the guy. Otherwise, he would have already said goodbye to his life. But Tom doesn't understand what all this is about, because the girl didn't want to kill him. But Keek only talks about the guy's naivety. Bella is the most wanted cold-blooded criminal. She didn't kill Tom just because he might be useful to her in the future. Tom definitely didn't expect to hear that about a girl. Captain Kick isn't done. He advises the guy to get rid of the thing behind him as quickly as possible. Tom claims that there is nothing behind him and that there is no need to joke like that. And the system nearby is indignant that it is not some kind of thing, but a spending system. The captain only says that there are things that a guy should not get involved in, and there are people that are too tough for him. Kick warned Tom that he must accept the consequences for his actions. The police officers are returning. Tom is tensed by the words the man said to him. Kick's assistant asks him if Tom will give up this thing, but the man knows that Tom will definitely not leave this system, and they can only continue to protect the guy. His employee asks why. Then he convinced Tom if he knows that the guy will refuse. Captain Kick replies that he just doesn't want anyone else to die in vain while looking at the starry sky. After all the events, the main character is bored. Sitting on the sofa, he thinks about everything that happened. The guy wonders what other group and supernatural forces are. Everything that's happening is definitely some kind of nonsense. Jessica asks if the gentleman is okay and can make him a cup of tea. Wendy says that it might be worth letting Captain Kick protect the guy. Tom realizes that the girls are worried about him. The guy thinks that they don't have to worry. And besides, they shouldn't be involved in dealing with groups of aliens. In fact, Tom has already figured out how to deal with them. The main character quickly goes to his room to rest, and the girl advises the same. But Wendy wants to ask the guy something. However, she does not have time, and Tom quickly runs away from her. Tom doesn't look as calm as he wanted to appear in front of the girls. The situation with groups of foreigners makes the guy panic. In fact, he has no idea how to deal with them. The only thing he can do is pretend that he's good at it. The system agrees that the guy is really useless. This group managed to scare him. Tom blames the system for everything because without it, they would not have attacked him. But the system is insulted by such statements because the guy chose it himself, and all responsibility lies with him. Tom claims that if he knew what awaited him, he would never have agreed to this. The guy doesn't want to die, and it would be better to continue living like a loser. However, it is impossible to refuse the system, and Tom would better think about how to cope with a group of aliens in order to survive. The main character understands that the system is right, and he must take responsibility and deal with everything. Tom says that Bella was right, and he will be killed quickly, but the system reminds that the girl said something else. As long as the system increases the level, there is still a chance. The guy asks if he can really rely on the system's abilities to deal with this group, to which he receives a positive answer. All rewards for system upgrades are not just decorations, but powerful artifacts that can enhance the hero's combat abilities. There are also various combat props that can be exchanged for upgrades. Tom demands a new task. He agrees to everything, but not everything is so simple, and the mission does not mean that the task will immediately appear. The guy is called by Jessica, who has something to say. Tom tells the girl that he is busy now, but she quickly reports that the girl the guy came with has left. Tom did not expect such news and is very worried. Jessica hands over the letter she gave to Wendy before she left. In the letter, the girl wrote that she was leaving. She was unhappy because her body did not allow her to be close, but the girl only wishes happiness for the guy with Jessica. Wendy regrets that she will not watch the concert with Tom. Her time is up. Tom assumes that the girl is terminally ill. The guy must quickly find Wendy. Jessica wants to go with him. Tom asks the system to find Wendy's location, to which he receives a remark from the system that a couple of minutes ago he wanted to get rid of her. The guy asks for help. In return, he is ready to earn as many points as he can. The system begins searching for the girl. Wendy's location quickly becomes known to the system. Tom asks to quickly tell about it. The system replies that the girl went to Vanessa's concert alone. This fact shocks the guy. At the headquarters of a group of foreigners, a man in uniform is running. He reports to the head that signs of life have appeared from number 6. The report takes the screen with the system. A person appears on this screen and tells the man to remember to keep watch. A man in uniform makes contact using a special device on his hand. A three-dimensional image of a guy appears, reporting that number 6 disappeared during the task of arresting Tom. The man on the screen says, in response to the report, that the dignity of the organization cannot be provoked. The team member says he will immediately send temporary assassination team number 9 to follow them. The man receives consent from the head. At the same time, people gathered for the concert, admiring the artist. A solid white car parks in a crowd of people. The wind from the car lifts up the girl's dresses and blows away the bald man's wig. Tom runs out of the car along with Jessica and a black security guard. But the main character is stopped by a group of guys gathered for a concert. They demand that Tom get in line like the others. The guard and Jessica are worried that Tom has been hit, but the guy is fine. He states that the boys forced him to play big. Scattering the money, Tom shows a photo of Wendy on his phone. The protagonist will pay $1 million to the person who finds the girl. The guy's money changed the opinion of those present about him, and they are ready to do anything for a reward. Everyone will come up with their own theory about where they saw the girl, and a fight breaks out. Tom has come up with some new idea which he discusses with the guard. The black man understood the hero's plan and is ready to follow it. The guard shouts that he saw the girl in the toilet. The guys, hearing a statement that could help them win a reward, are distracted from the fight. They quickly rush to the place the guard pointed to. However, the booth was occupied. There was a beautiful girl in the toilet, who clearly did not expect someone to burst into her room. The girl in the booth is not the Wendy people are looking for. A girl who is being invaded screams from the toilet. Meanwhile, everyone is busy. Tom, Jessica, and the guard quickly leave. On tiptoe before anyone notices that the heroes are missing, they go to the concert. Tom, Wendy, and the security guard skip the line to the concert. The next goal is to find Wendy. Everyone in the room is a huge fan of Vanessa. Fans are crazy about the artist. They have prepared many posters with her. The girls in the audience shout about their love for the singer. A lot of fans came to the concert. Tom didn't expect so many people. They definitely wouldn't find a girl in such a crowd. The main character is confused. He didn't think that so many fans would gather for the concert. Jessica suggests asking Vanessa for help since it's her gig. The main character likes this idea and goes straight to the singer. Tom released it so that people scattered, and they could easily leave the filled hall. Vanessa's fans have already gathered in the luxurious room, having learned that the artist has been invited as a guest to today's concert. The girl herself appears in the hall. She tells her colleague Jack that she doesn't like him. But the guy doesn't believe it because not a single girl has ever refused him, and the artist says this to attract his attention. The fans standing nearby are crazy about Jack. They consider him and Vanessa an ideal couple and gods of singing. Vanessa is adamant. She says that there is already a person she is in love with. However, Jack does not believe her and asks to show this lucky guy, otherwise he will not give up. Suddenly Tom bursts in, looking for the singer. Jack, who gets knocked down, doesn't like this situation, and it looks like their drama won't end there. Vanessa recognizes Tom and wonders why the guy is there. But the main character is in a hurry and does not want to start small talk with the girl, so he gets to the point and asks for help. Tom's sudden appearance angered Jack. He took the guy's intrusion as an attempt to flirt with his lady. Tom doesn't understand what all the complaints are about and asks Vanessa if this brainless clown, dressed like a green turtle, has come to help her with the concert, to which Jack promises to kill Tom. However, the phrase about his appearance made Jack think, and he began to imagine himself as a green turtle. The comment about her colleague made the girl laugh. Vanessa explains that Jack is the god of singing, and recently he began to pester her, which greatly irritates the girl. An angry Jack, boasting that he is the god of singing, declares that it is too late for Tom to kneel and ask for forgiveness. But Tom, instead of apologizing, offers the guy a competition, and if he loses, he will no longer appear in front of Vanessa. The main character understands that he will have to help Vanessa first, so that she can help him later. Jack takes the guy's challenge as a joke. Will Tom really dare to compete with the god of singing? Vanessa begins to dissuade the main character because Jack is famous for his wonderful singing. The girl claims that even she is not his competitor, not to mention Tom. But the main character calms the girl down, claiming that he will definitely win Jack. Jack agrees, promising to humiliate the protagonist in front of Vanessa so that he will be ashamed. While the heroes are discussing their differences, people are already looking forward to Vanessa's appearance. The singer goes on stage, greeting the audience, and the hall is filled with cries of admiration and love for the girl. Vanessa also loves her fans very much because they listen to and support her work. To thank those present for coming, the girl invited Jack to today's performance. The guy is also loved by the public. People listen to his songs without getting tired even after 10,000 years. Vanessa also reveals that they have invited a special guest to fight Jack, which she hopes fans will enjoy. The public does not believe that anyone can compare with the god of singing Jack, and they only want to listen to him. Jack, hearing people admiring his singing, tries to rub the main character's nose in, to which he asks him to shut up. The singer is confident in his victory, claiming that by competing with him, Tom will definitely lose and be disgraced in front of so many people. But Tom just laughs at his statement, saying that they will still see the outcome of this battle. Vanessa begins introducing the god of singing to the audience before he comes out. However, the girl does not have time to finish when her microphone is intercepted by Jack, who asks if people miss him. The girl considers the guy's action boorish and calls Jack himself a narcissist. The girl in the audience admires the singer and is incredibly happy about his appearance, shouting words of love. Having heard what he wanted, Jack begins to perform his first song called Wild Wolf Disco. Many people really like this song, and everyone is happy to hear it live at a concert. Even pensioners are crazy about Jack and his songs after the guy's performance. You can continue to live for a few more days. Jack and Vanessa are performing. Tom is waiting for his appearance in the dressing room in the company of Jessica and the security guard. Jessica recognizes Jack's talent and asks whether Tom can definitely defeat him. and the guard declares that the guy should simply destroy the singer. However, unlike his friends, Tom is not worried at all and says that he can definitely defeat the singer. But first, Tom needs to prepare. The main character's confidence rested on the system. The guy is sure that it definitely has something that will help him sing well. The system knew that this would happen. Without it, the guy would fight with 5 scum. And she begins to look for the right thing that can help Tom win. After going through a bunch of things, the system finally pulls out what it needs, handing it to Tom. This is a ghost hammer. As long as he's next to the guy, he will be able to sing any of the most beautiful songs at will, reaching the depths of human souls. Tom asks how to use this thing. The system, assuming this question, grins and says that it will help the guy use this artifact, and hits the main character on the head. Tom didn't expect that the system could hit him. The guy thinks that the system just took advantage of the opportunity to beat him, and it's all just a scam. The system responded that it should first look to see if the hero has something extra in his head. But Tom doesn't understand what might be superfluous in his head. Suddenly, samples of famous performers pop up in his memory. The system says that it has installed the abilities of several famous singers for the hero, and also added a beautiful voice. Tom was happy about the new changes and the opportunity to defeat the arrogant Jack. Hoping to gain even better skills, Tom asks the system to hit him again. From the room where Tom is, and the system, ambiguous phrases are issued, which strain Jessica and the guard. When the main character leaves the room, his appearance frightens his friends. However, Tom is not at all bothered by his beaten appearance and is confident that he will win no matter what. The main character promises that they will see his radiant performance, but the guard and Jessica have little faith in this, seeing his condition. At the same time, Vanessa announces a new guest who will compete in singing with Jack. People are not happy about the appearance of a new person on stage, because after Jack's singing, there will be nothing better. Many decide to leave while the main character is performing. Jack claims that Tom will definitely embarrass himself in front of everyone. The main character enters the stage. He shines in the rays of the spotlights. His singing touches the soul and is a delight to the ears of listeners. No one in the hall expected such beautiful singing from Tom. Those who wanted to leave stayed and continued listening. Jessica was also amazed by the revealed talent of the protagonist. She again admired him. Tom combined the songs of great performers in his singing, surpassing each of them. The main character's singing is too good. Many even forgot Jack's singing. Tom has fans who adore his voice and charisma. Everyone no longer even remembers the god of singing. From behind the scenes, the guy is also strongly supported by the guard and Jessica, claiming that he will defeat Jack, while the artist himself is worried about his impending loss. Vanessa tells Jack that it looks like he lost, a statement that seriously scares the god of singing. Jack doesn't understand how he could lose to someone like Tom. The guy gets angry. He claims to be the god of singing, and a mediocrity like Tom can't beat him to what the guy does best. Jack enters the stage, interrupting the main character's performance. He snatches the microphone from the main character and is about to sing again. Jack starts performing a new song. However, no one else is impressed by his voice after the main character's performance. Jack begins to be kicked off stage to continue listening to Tom's beautiful singing. The singer doesn't understand how he could lose if he's so handsome and talented. Tom, just like Vanessa, considers the guy a narcissist. Jack is driven away by throwing rotten food at him. The artist falls, and the main character comments that the guy is no longer the god of singing. Showing an indecent gesture, Tom declares Jack's loss, saying that the guy is better off staying away from Vanessa now, because that was exactly the condition of their dispute. Afterwards, the main character thanks the audience for their attention and is about to leave the stage. However, the guy stops the people and asks them to sing again, shouting that they will create a new association in honor of Tom, dissolving Jack's association. The singer is angry because of his loss and the betrayal of the fans, and that it was not the main character who suffered shame, but he. Tom begins to leave the stage, but Jack is indignant at how Tom can leave after humiliating him. The artist takes Tom and throws him off the stage, declaring that only he can bear the title of God of Song. Tom begins to fall from a high stage. Because of the guy's stupid rage, he can be seriously injured. Jessica, Vanessa, and the security guard are worried about the main character, but they are unlikely to have time to do anything in this situation. Only Jack gloats over the guy, wishing him death. Suddenly, an alarmed Wendy runs out of the crowd. The girl says that she will catch the guy, but Tom asks her to move away. In the worst case, she could also get hurt. But the girl is not going to back down and let her loved one suffer. Tom and Wendy fall together, hitting the floor painfully. The girl, trying to save her beloved, suffered the most. Blood is flowing from her mouth, and Wendy herself is almost unconscious. In a weak voice, the girl says that she listened to the song he sang for a long time. It is really beautiful. After the girl has said everything, her hand falls. This scares Tom. He doesn't want to lose the one he just found. The main character asks the system for help to save the girl from death. The system directs a beam from its eye to the girl to analyze her condition. Jack hoped that Tom would die after falling off the stage, and was very disappointed by the fact that the guy was still alive. The audience, seeing the true cruel essence of their favorite artist, hated him, claiming that a person like Jack had no place on stage. Realizing that the situation is heating up, the singer decides that he needs to hurry to get away from the angry crowd. However, Jack does not have time to leave the stage when he is hit in the face by a security guard. The guy falls. He declares that a man does not dare hit an artist like Jack. Jessica and Vanessa appear on the scene, who cannot forgive Jack for his vile act. They say that such trash as he cannot exist. While Jack is afraid of what the girls will do, and the guard with him, new people appear behind him. The spectators, having climbed onto the stage, also want justice. They are ready to tear the guy to pieces. The people attack Jack, beating him in every possible way and threatening him. The guy only asks not to touch his face, because he values his pretty face most of all. Tom asks what happened to Wendy. He thinks that the girl was injured due to a collision with him. The system says that a bruise is a common thing, but the girl has cancer, and this is much more serious. Most likely she will not live until the morning. Tom did not expect to hear such an answer from the system. It unsettles him. The guy remembers Wendy's letter and realizes what the girl wrote about. Tom asks the system to exchange anything to save the girl from certain death. But the system says that the main character does not have enough points to exchange them to save Wendy. The system never helped Tom, leaving the hero alone with his problem. The guy doesn't understand when he managed to spend all the points. To which the system lists everything the guy spent his points on. It says that the hero doesn't even try to earn money in exchange for points. Tom begs the system to give him at least a chance, but he is adamant, citing the rules. The system disappears, and Tom is left alone with the dying Wendy. The guard, Vanessa and Jessica, run into the room. They are interested in the condition of the main character. Everyone tries to help Tom in their own way. Jessica offers to bandage Tom and Wendy's wounds and bruises. Vanessa reports that she's already called an ambulance. The guard dealt with the scoundrel Jack, taking away the guy's most valuable possession. But the words of his friends do not calm Tom down. He begins to blame himself for what happened to Wendy. While Wendy lies peacefully, almost lifelessly, in the arms of the protagonist, he reproaches himself for not earning more points to save the girl. Jessica understands that the situation is very serious and tries to correctly ask Tom about it. And Vanessa is interested in who the girl is in the arms of the main character. But Tom does not intend to answer their questions. He demands to immediately call the best doctors because he cannot let Wendy die. At this time, at the headquarters of the alien group, a man with a cigarette in his mouth mentions Tom. He claims that this time no one will come to the guy's aid, and he will be a dead man, like his beloved. The man gave the order to his subordinates to act, to which they obediently accepted the captain's task. Tom thanks Vanessa for the ambulance. She helped the guy a lot. Vanessa doesn't see any problems in helping her friends. She notices that the girl is very dear to the main character, since he takes care of her so much. However, the ambulance didn't even have time to get out of the carriage when a man from a group of foreigners suddenly appeared. Tom, Jessica, Vanessa, and the guard did not expect the villains to appear at such an important moment. This seriously scared the heroes. The man still smoking a cigar warms up in preparation for battle. He is glad that he has finally found Tom and will be able to complete his mission. Tom realizes that the man has come to kill him, and asks the guard to take Jessica and Vanessa to safety. But the man is not going to let Tom leave so easily. He orders his subordinates to surround the heroes. The guys in uniform quickly complete the task, and the main character no longer has any escape routes. But it's too early to give up, and the guard stands up for the guy. The man rips off his shirt, showing everyone his big muscles. He claims that he will not let anyone hurt Tom. However, the menacing appearance of the guard does not frighten the man from the group of foreigners at all. He is sure that they will all soon die. The man did not have time to finish his threatening phrase when missiles flew at him. He didn't expect anyone to dare to confront him, especially so openly. The missiles accurately hit the target, destroying the ambulance and the man from the group of aliens. The heroes managed to dodge the explosive blow, but they also did not expect such an outcome. Captain Kick came to the rescue in time, noting the complexity of the situation in which Tom again found himself. Kick asks if the guy needs help. Tom is glad to see his savior. The main character really needs help. He says that a group of aliens has come for him again to kill him. However, Captain Kick had just arrived to deal with him once and for all. The squad had been preparing for this battle for a very long time, developing new and improved weapons at the Institute. This time a group of aliens would definitely not escape alive. Tom supports the captain, claiming that you can always rely on him. However, another incident occurs that was not part of Captain Kick's plan. The squad did not prepare for a counterattack, hoping to deal with a group of aliens in one powerful blow. A man appears in the violet fire who should not have survived that explosion. Tom notices the strength of his opponent, and Jessica and the guard don't even have words to describe the horror. The man became even more powerful, preparing for a new battle to the death. He recognizes Captain Kick, surprised that he is still alive, but the man is ready to fix it. Tom notices that the two know each other, but still doesn't know what kind of relationship they might have. Captain Kick has a personal account with a group of foreigners. He grins that the man is not dead yet and says that it was awkward for him to be left alone while the captain's gaze inspires horror. The two groups are about to collide with each other. The man of the alien faction interjects a caustic comment that Kik is going to kill him with this pile of garbage. The man reminds the captain of the past, when all his subordinates and his wife died, claiming that he has not yet learned his last lesson. Reminders of that event pain Kiku. He remembers his suffering on the battlefield, then hope died with him. The love of his life died in the hands of capital, and his dead comrades lay nearby. The death of loved ones hit the man hard. Now, having gained strength, he is ready to avenge everyone who died and protect those who are still alive. The foreign man's sarcastic jokes don't end there. He asks if Kik is really angry. He already thought that he forgot about it. The main character notices that this man specifically angered the captain. Kik gives the order to advance. This time he does not intend to just let the group of foreigners go. Kika's squad is ready to go into battle to avenge everyone who is no longer alive. A group of foreigners are also ready to attack. The commander orders to kill everyone. The first blow is struck by Kika's squad, breaking up the group with his super hand. With a purple magic chain that strikes the target with lightning, another of Kika's subordinates captures enemies, not giving them a chance to escape. The advantages of the Kika group do not end there. The man takes out a huge cannon, which burns a group of aliens. The superiority is still on the side of Captain Kik. They intend to definitely win this time. However, Kik notices that something is wrong. Everything cannot go so smoothly, especially with such an insidious organization as a group of aliens that knows nothing about fair combat and justice. The commander of the alien group emerges from the explosion absolutely calmly. Captain Kik was embarrassed by his calmness. All this time, the man collected information about the Kika group into his bracelet. The bracelet installs abilities that will easily help you defeat your opponents. When the device performed all its functions, the man became invincible. Tom notices that the bracelet the man was using is the same as the woman he had to fight with earlier. The man declares that he has figured out all the tricks of Kik. Now a group of aliens is ready to strike back. However, Kika's team does not intend to give up and is ready to attack again. They use a variety of techniques: a super strong mechanical arm, a 1,000,000-volt chain lightning, a maximum power ion cannon. All these techniques are aimed at the alien man, but he does not seem to be bothered by the opponent's techniques at all. He notices that they want to knock him out with this one toy. The man reflects all the intentions of his opponents with a light shield. The party didn't expect that their strong abilities could be repelled so easily. Seeing the confusion of his opponents, the man calls them a pile of garbage. Kik notices how easily the enemy dealt with them and gives the order to retreat due to the high danger. But the man declares that it is now too late to retreat. A huge purple fist is already heading towards Kik's allies. A huge explosion occurs, which should have destroyed everything in its path. Tom is hardly affected by this explosion because the guy is not on the battlefield. The squad is scattered in different directions by Captain Kik's strong explosive blow. The captain, seeing the state of his group, is worried about each of its members. Kik doesn't want to lose his allies again. He runs straight to them, hoping to help in some way. But the guy to whom the capital fled only manages to apologize and loses consciousness. Tears well up in Kik's eyes. The pain of losing his allies once again is unbearable for him. But the man does not intend to give up. He wants revenge and clutches his weapon tighter. In tears, the man runs towards the enemy. A missile shoots out from Kik's weapon and heads straight for the alien man. But this doesn't scare him at all. He calls Kik an idiot because he dared to attack him. The man, having stopped the blow, fires his weapon again, scaring the captain. Tom is also amazed that the man stopped the rocket with his bare hands. Kik can't believe that such a blow didn't even hit the man. It's simply impossible. He squeezed the rocket in his hand, causing an explosion that sent Captain Kik flying. After the transformation, the man became much stronger for him. Killing heroes is as easy as swatting ants. This statement makes Kik even more tense. He worries not only about himself, but also about those who are still alive. The main character notices that the man is too strong. He is different from the woman who is pursuing him. If this continues, then Tom will be finished. Grabbing a knife, Kik orders Tom to run for his life. The man runs against the enemy again, hoping to win or at least save Tom. The main character does not want to just run away, dooming Kik to death. With a knife, the captain has no chance of fighting the man. Gathering his strength into a fist, the man from the foreign group prepares to deliver a killing blow to the enemy. The blow lands directly in Kiku's stomach, knocking the knife out of his hands. The captain flies off, hitting the asphalt painfully, while Tom asks the system to at least come up with something in this situation. The system detects a danger and begins activating the protection package. The main character hurries her, otherwise they may not have time to protect the captain. But the system asks Tom not to worry because it has almost everything ready. A fiery shield appears in front of the main character, capable of saving him from any blow. Captain Kik is having a hard time. The blow was strong and blood is flowing from his mouth. The alien man is going to finish off the captain, dealing him the final decisive blow. However, Tom is already rushing to help Kik with the shield. He throws the defense straight to the captain. This action shocks the system, because this shield was intended to protect the main character. The captain catches the shield. Now he has a chance to survive in this unequal battle. But the man does not consider Kick's shield worthy of protection. This does not stop him at all from finishing off the man. In this situation, the captain can only trust Tom. Only he can save him. Only a shield separates Kick and the man, but will he be able to protect the captain? An explosion occurs at the place where the heroes were. Tom hopes that the shield can protect Captain Kick from death. Bella sees this explosion. The girl warned Tom about the danger of an attack. The girl notices that the ray of light is another team. The blonde guy next to her asks if Bella is going to take a closer look. The girl asks to bring 2 newcomers whose abilities may be useful. These newcomers are extremely excited that their abilities can be useful. This is their first mission. They will finally be able to show themselves to Tom. However, Bella interrupts their conversation, warning them that they are prohibited from showing their abilities to ordinary people, or harming them. The girl's threat that disobedience will result in reprisals frightens the guys. Bella and her assistants move to the battlefield. The coordinates have been entered and are ready to be transmitted. The team teleports to the site of the conflict. The man's blow was stopped by something which confused him greatly. The current situation also shocked Captain Kick. The shield formed a cushion that pinched the man's hand, stopping the attack. Tom asked the system what kind of shield it gave him. The shield doesn't let go of the man's hand. Kick says that in any case it won't stop him. The system explains that the shield is called the Abyss. It is capable of absorbing all attacks and is one of the most valuable that the system has. Tom deduces that the man is now trapped and cannot use his powers. The system agrees with the main character, saying that the guy now has an advantage. The main character picks up a brick and runs to the defenseless man. Finally, the hour of reckoning has come and the man will pay for everyone he killed. Tom turns into a devil who knows no mercy. The guy starts beating the man with a brick, hitting him right in the face. Afterwards, the main character kicks him in the stomach. Tom punches him in the face. Drops of blood fly out of the man's mouth from the powerful blow. At the end of his revenge, the guy hits him between the legs. Bella and her subordinates emerge from the portal, which took them to the right place. The girl's assistant reports that they need to be careful. They are in the thick of a scrape. One of them is the best killer of the group. Bella is already ready for battle, but winning will be problematic because they are at different levels of training. The subordinate girls notice Tom in this fight. Bella does not believe that the main character could be involved in such a dangerous situation. This is impossible. The girl does not believe that Tom was able to defeat a killer, especially of this level. Pressing the man's head with his foot, Tom begins to take revenge for all his deeds. The guy takes away an alien bracelet that can do such powerful and terrifying things. But Tom claims that such a thing does not impress him. Bella, finally seeing Tom, is surprised she doesn't understand how the guy went from being a weakling to being so strong. The girl's assistants admire the strength of the main character. They conclude that they need to follow the guy in order to become just as cool and to achieve a good future. The guys run to Tom to help him, claiming that their abilities have finally awakened and they can be useful to him. Bella's blonde assistant tells her that their intern has just joined another organization and betrayed them. The girl replies that she knew it would happen like this. She offers to let the guys go because their abilities are not that strong. But the guy replies that this could undermine the reputation of the organization. Bella says that if he refuses, then he should fight Tom, who just killed man number 9, to restore the organization's reputation. The guy just laughs at the girl's comment, joking that it will be easier to get rid of those two. Tom approaches Bella, asking if the girl still considers him weak. The main character boasts to everyone that he even sent the killer of this group to the trash. But Bella is not going to admire Tom and briefly thanks him, saying that they will take the man back to prison. The main character hoped to receive a reward for his heroism. A simple thank you does not suit him. Captain Kick does not allow the girl to take a man from a group of foreigners because he killed so many of his comrades and relatives. And letting a man get away with all this is simply outrageous. But the girl explains that Tom, not the captain, caught him, and he has no right to demand anything. The captain throws a badge right in Tom's face, which identifies the main character as a member of the Kika Special Squad. Tom examines the badge, not understanding why they are trying to drag him into something again. Kick tells Bella that at this moment in time, the guy is the leader of their special squad. But Bella invites Tom to join their organization of the Six-Pointed Star, because with their reputation, no one else will dare to attack the main character. Holding the badges of the two organizations in his hands, Tom considers two tempting offers. Both leaders of two strong squads are trying to win the hero over to their side, trying to achieve their own goals by doing so. Bella's subordinates admire and envy Tom's popularity, concluding that they will never achieve the same. A man who was recently beaten and tried to decide what to do with him reminds of his existence. He says they can be destroyed but not caught. Bella realizes that the man is going to blow himself up to avoid being taken away. Kick rather runs away from the man, and the girl attacks Tom to protect him with her body. A man blows himself up with one movement of his hand. In the place where the man lay, a huge hole is formed after the explosion. Bella, still on Tom, notices that the explosion from this bomb was very close and very strong. Tom also says that the bomb was really very big, but the guy is actually talking about Bella's breasts, which are right in front of his eyes. The girl, understanding what the guy is talking about, calls him a moron. She hits Tom one last time and leaves, because her mission here has already been completed, and the girl has no need to stay here anymore. But the main character stops the girl, wanting to say something else. He asks the girl for one favor. Bella stops, deciding to listen to what the main character has to say. Tom, after all the incidents that occurred earlier, finds himself back on his estate, pondering a new plan of action in the current situation. The main character, sitting on the sofa, was deeply thinking about something. Tom thought about what Bella said before leaving. The girl said that they could freeze Wendy's condition only for a few days, during which time the guy must deal with all his problems. Realizing that he only has 10 days, Tom is very determined he cannot give up at such a crucial and important moment. He calls the system to ask what medications might help Wendy. The system shows the main character a whole list of suitable drugs, but none of them cost less than 10,000 points. Such prices shocked the main character, but the system does not understand Tom's indignation, because these drugs can resurrect the dead, and such a price is still cheap for such a person. The guy doesn't understand how he can earn such a huge amount in such a short period of time. Suddenly, the main character receives a call from an unknown number. Tom answers the call, asking for the identity of the other person. The girl on the other line introduces herself as Julia. She is the largest shareholder of the company and wants to meet the main character. The personality of the interlocutor annoys Tom. He asks again about the girl's status he heard. Without waiting for an answer, the guy asks when it is convenient for her to meet. Maybe thanks to her he can earn more money. Julia makes an appointment for the next morning in the company meeting room. The man behind her asks about the advisability of meeting a guy. But the girl is confident in her decision and declares that as long as the guy is with them, the company does not fall into the wrong hands. Julia will never let these bastards win, no matter what price she has to pay for it. The next day, Tom, along with Bella's assistants, goes to a meeting with a mysterious shareholder, whom the guy has never seen before. The guy next to the main character admires that Tom has such a large company. Someone screams are heard from the meeting room that he will never give the company into their hands, and they better get out. Tom notices that there seems to be some kind of quarrel going on in the hall. Entering the office, the main character sees 4 people already furiously discussing something. An older man declares that besides Julia and Tom, he owns the rest of the company's capital. Tomorrow, the man will hold a general meeting of shareholders and re-elect the chairman. This statement shocks the girl and her assistant. She cannot allow such events to happen. The main character intervenes in their argument, saying that he came here to meet Julia. The girl was surprised by Tom's appearance, and a fat elderly man named Ethan said that the guy came on time. The man began to throw accusations towards the main character that the guy had put his brother in prison. While Tom doesn't understand what's wrong, on Ethan's orders, a bald man who is in the hall with everyone is already running towards him. Swinging at the main character, he wishes him to go to hell as soon as possible. Tom, seeing that the blow is accompanied by fire, suggests that the man has some kind of ability. Julia screams for the men to stop their fights and not resort to brute force. The girl's assistant notices that this is the end, and the situation has already crossed all boundaries of normal. An elderly man accuses Tom of insulting his family. Tom does not feel any fear. The guy begins to activate the super ability of the bracelet. His hand is instantly filled with energy that will help him win a new battle. The main character is ready to defend an attack because he perfectly feels his superiority. The impact is about to happen, and their fists will meet. Tom's strength greatly exceeds that of the bald man. The guy's blow was so strong that the man flew into the wall, smashing everything in his path. The guys who came with Tom admire the power of the main character, wishing him to keep in the same spirit. The man who was applying for the position of chairman did not expect that someone would be able to defeat his assistant because he had superpowers. Julia and her assistant also admire Tom and his strength. The main character, looking at his new gadget, is glad that it works, but its energy may only last a few times. Ethan does not want to admit his loss and shouts after the guy that sooner or later he will take over this company. However, Tom does not take the man's threat seriously and orders his new assistant to capture them, to which they're only too happy to serve their idol. It's not for nothing that the guys were previously subordinate to Bella. They really frighten those around them with their strength and are ready to deal with Tom's offenders. The red-haired guy is the first to show his superpowers. He has the ability to overheat the enemy's body. The man is no longer as confident as he was when he attacked Tom. He is all on fire, having experienced the guy's ability. Realizing his well-being, he begins to experience a wild fever, which brought him great discomfort. The man begins to undress, trying to somehow cool himself down. Julia, seeing Ethan begin to take off his pants, quickly closes her eyes, calling him a pervert. He remains completely without clothes, still feeling an irresistible heat, and the guys watching everything laugh at his ridiculous figure and small dignity. The blue hair guy states that it is his turn to use his power. the ventilation technique. The man, still naked and in the fetal position, passes gas. The main character did not even imagine that the guy would have such an ability. Tom hits his assistant, complaining about the foul smell, and his friend says that this ability is almost a biological weapon. Ethan, feeling extremely ashamed, orders everyone out, while all the employees in the room suffer from the unbearable smell emanating from the man. He finally shouts that the main character won't get away with it so easily. Tom, leaning out of the window and trying to catch his breath from the pungent and unpleasant smell, tells his assistant to use his ability less often because of its power. The guy admits that he used his ability the first time and will be more attentive next time. Julia thanks Tom for his help. He helped the girl a lot. The main character, having finally caught his breath, says that he is not worth thanks and asks where this man came from and what happened between them. The girl, looking down, admits that the company is now going through a crisis. Suddenly, a system appears in front of Tom, which reports that a new mission has appeared to save Julia. The opportunity to earn points makes the guy happy, because it means he can save Wendy. Tom reaches for the letter to accept a new mission. However, the system warns the hero that the mission is very large and includes many tasks. If the main character fails in this mission, then the punishment will be cruel. The mention of punishment makes the hero tremble with fear. But the guy pulls himself together, because he must earn points and save Wendy, who now more than ever needs his help. Tom snatches the mission letter from the system, declaring that he is ready to make any sacrifice for the girl. The letter contained a huge list that Tom was obliged to complete. The tasks were combined into 4 main subgroups: get out of financial difficulties, get shares and find the culprits, win Julia's heart, and have children with her. The penalty for failing to complete the mission was simply huge, which shocked the main character. The system explains that the greater the reward, the greater the penalty for failure to complete, and in any case, the guy has already taken the task and has nowhere to go. Seeing no other way out, Tom heads back to the meeting room to discuss with Julia the reasons for the company's crisis. The girl explains that their company specializes in cosmetics, and the whitening tablets, on the development of which a lot of money was spent, were stolen and patented by other people, and this served to bankrupt the company. Julia claims that the company will not last even a week. Her optimism does not please the main character at all. Tom needs to earn $1 billion in just 3 days. This situation leads the main character to despair. The girl's assistant states that Jacob, who stole their secrets, was quick, as if he knew all their secrets. Remembering what Julia said about whitening pills, something comes to mind. The guy asks the system if it has a powerful form of whitening. The cheaper the better. The system, rummaging through its archives, finds the powder for only 50 points. This message encourages Tom. He says that this is what he needs. Julia claims that there is no way she will hand over the company to Jacob, and if there is no other way, she will prepare a bankruptcy plan. However, the main character is not going to give up. A plan has already matured in his head. The announcement that the guy may have a plan shocks Julia and her assistant, giving them the hope they've been waiting for. Tom says that to carry out the plan, he needs their help. This time the guy is going to put on a big show, and 50 points is not such a big price for this. But the guy will have to pretend to be a non-entity again. A fat, elderly man reports to his boss that their plan was almost completed. But Tom suddenly appeared and ruined everything. The boss claims that Tom's name seems familiar to him. Ethan angrily explains that this guy provoked his older brother and sent him to prison. The main character is not so simple. It will be difficult to deal with him because he defeated number 6 and 9 from the alien group. This time, Jacob's boss's goal is not to kill Tom, but to take over the company and raise funds for the organization. The overweight man is surprised that his boss's main target is not the main character. The man claims that Tom will be easy to deal with. Now they need to deal with his surroundings. People have already gathered for Jacob's press conference to introduce the bleaching powder. The journalists were clearly not happy about this meeting. They were expecting a sensation and not the usual presentation of the powder. But the guy reassures his neighbor, because after the conference, there will be a red envelope with a reward, and he only needs to take a couple of photos and write something at the end. Ethan claims that they are the first to introduce this powder to the market and get all the glory. Under such circumstances, the company of Tom and Julia will definitely come to an end. And with it, the main character himself. The man's assistant reports that all TV channels will broadcast their product during prime time. This news filled him with determination, and he was ready to perform. The man began his speech with an explanation about a new product developed by a Korean company. The main advantage of the powder is that it can whiten the skin. The audience began to whisper, discussing such an interesting product. The man is angry that the reporters are not filming anything at this point, and says that at the end of the conference they should cut the number of red envelopes in half. His assistant interrupts the man's thoughts, drawing his attention upward. There is already an advertisement in the sky on the airship with Tom's face with a new bleaching powder. Tom announces that he is giving away money to support the company, and asks to accept this gift in the form of a new powder. Money flew from the sky, with which people were supposed to buy their new product. The man does not understand why Tom is doing this, because it is extremely unprofitable to throw money away. The reporters instantly woke up, finding Tom's ad more exciting than Jacob and Ethan's boring conference. They began quickly leaving the event in hopes of gathering more compelling information for a paper and earning more money than they could have gotten at the conference. The fat man did not expect that this could happen at his own event. The protagonist's advertisement shines everywhere in the USA. The guy guarantees that this powder will take them to Europe. The video with Tom is located in Paris on the Eiffel Tower itself. The main character even managed to advertise on a pyramid in Egypt. In space, the satellite broadcast Tom's speech that using the powder helped him get rid of pain in his lower back and legs, and it will also help customers. There was no place where Tom did not leave his mark. His face flashed everywhere, advertising a new product. The protagonist's assistants are simply shocked at how much money was invested in promoting the new powder. But Tom doesn't seem to care at all, on the contrary. He is extremely pleased with himself and his plan. Julia's assistant hoped that Tom would be able to do at least something, but now he was completely disappointed in the hero's plan. Julia doesn't understand what all this advertising is about, because they don't have this bleaching powder that Tom talks about at every turn. However, Tom shows the girl a folded piece of paper. The main character says that the formula for the new whitening powder is in this package. This statement shocks everyone around Tom. However, the guy himself is completely calm, inviting everyone to go to the Cosmetic Development and Research Department to show how to use this powder. Julia and her assistant discuss how the protagonist's plan might work and what it might lead to. Tom, checking the characteristics of the powder in the system, comes to the conclusion that everything should definitely work out, and the system convinces him of the quality of its products and services. In Julia's cosmetic laboratory, work and experiments on new products are in full swing. The girl working in the lab claims that all their products are not good enough, like stolen bleach powder. Dr. Sam says next to him with a sigh that it's too late to talk about it now. While the man goes into his office, colleagues discuss the importance of this project for the doctor himself. Sam actually didn't look as depressed as his colleagues saw him. They didn't even imagine that in fact the doctor himself had leaked the powder recipe for profit and was ready to leak other new company recipes. Before Sam could open the door and get out of it, the main character appeared right in front of him. His appearance frightened the doctor. Tom, going inside, recognized Dr. Sam, but the doctor himself was extremely unhappy with their meeting. Julia quickly introduces the company's second shareholder, Tom, to Dr. Sam, who developed their unique product. Sam immediately put on a mask of friendliness, claiming that now the company is going through hard times, and Tom is their only savior. The fact that the formula of the powder that Tom presented may be superior to him in some way scares the doctor, because otherwise he may not get his money. Even the expression on Tom's face frightened the man. Hearing the information that Tom had a formula for a new powder, the company's researcher perked up noticeably. The main character confirms this information by showing a piece of paper on which the formula was supposed to be written. The rest of the employees were also happy that there was hope for saving the company. However, Dr. Sam is not trying to please. He is skeptical of Tom's idea, claiming that they, a group of professionals, have not found a better formula than the one that was. Sam's colleagues, having heard the doctor's logical conjectures, also began to doubt Tom's formula. In addition, Dr. Sam was categorically against the main character using their ingredients for a dubious new powder. Based on his experience and authority, Sam was almost sure that he could defeat the guy and remain unpunished. Tom's assistants, having heard such injustice towards the guy, began to swear at the man because the main character helps them only out of the kindness of his heart. But the doctor is still unshakable, because he is confident that he is right, and asks the guys who stood up for Tom to shut up. The main character began to suspect that Sam might be involved in something. Otherwise, it would be unprofitable for him to oppose Tom. The guy states that as the second shareholder, he has the right to mobilize the necessary ingredients, and Julia confirms his capabilities. Approaching Sam's doctor again, the guy gave the order to make new bleaching powders according to his recipe. Tom's impudence and persistence amaze and anger the man. He thought that he could easily influence his employees, and especially the main character. Tom feels the man's dissatisfaction and decides to mock him, because the doctor has no right to resist the order of his superiors. Julia's assistant also doubts the protagonist's recipe and asks the girl if the guy can really be trusted. But the girl seems completely calm and is definitely ready to trust Tom. Dr. Sam is overwhelmed with anger and hatred towards the main character, and he demands to show him a piece of paper on which the new formula is written in order to verify the effectiveness of the new powder. However, the doctor does not have time to reach the piece of paper when the guy quickly withdraws his hand, preventing the man from taking the formula. Tom, with an evil grin on his face, claims that he does not trust the man and is not ready to give him a piece of paper with the formula just like that. With a friendly smile, he gives the piece of paper to the girl who was nearby. Dr. Sam begins to hate the main character even more and decides to under no circumstances allow the guy to win. Tom looks contentedly as the laboratory staff work on a new formula for bleaching powder. The main character asks the system to help him copy information from Dr. Sam's phone because this man is definitely involved in something and seems suspicious. These were the protagonist's last points, and he spent them to find out information about the alleged criminal who leaked information about the powder. In a jar of cream, there is a new product that was invented according to Tom's recipe. The new product smells unbearably and looks just as unpleasant. Tom didn't expect that the formula the system gave would be so nasty, that's why it was so cheap. Tom's assistants also smell this nasty smell. One of them claims that it smells worse than his ability. Other employees believe that there is absolutely no point in producing this product, especially since it smells like stinking dirt from a drain. Dr. Sam, seeing the protagonist's failure, cannot help but gloat over him, claiming that Tom's formula was not even close to his. The main character offers to bet 10 million that his remedy is much better than Dr. Sam's powder. The man is confident in his victory, so he happily accepts the bet. The company employees don't understand why the guy is going to argue with Sam, because he has absolutely no chance with his stinking product. Tom extends his hand to the beautiful Julia, inviting the girl to become his model in this dispute. Julia's assistant warns her that this is a bad idea and that she could disfigure herself with this remedy. But the girl looks at Tom lovingly and accepts his proposal. The guy says that only such a beauty as Julia can be the first to use this remedy. Dr. Sam is angry that Julia and Tom are stalling and demands that the competition begin as soon as possible. Sam, applying the powder to the girl's hand, explains that its product can be taken both internally and externally by rubbing, and the result will be visible within a week. Tom claims that the result of his product will be noticeable immediately. This statement and the guy's confidence makes Sam very angry. Employees whisper that no matter how strong the remedy is, it cannot act instantly, and the main character is simply lying and bragging. He does not deserve to be the second shareholder of the company, in their opinion. 1 minute has already passed, and Tom says that it is already necessary to remove the funds from Julia's hands in order to compare the effects. The girl who made the stinking clay for Tom begins to wash off Dr. Sam's solution first. The result is visible immediately. The place where the powder was applied noticeably brightened. Julia can't deny that Sam's pill works well. The doctor is well aware of his superiority over Tom because they have developed this formula a lot of time and effort, and when the powder is finally launched, it will take up a large part of the market. The guys understand that the main character will inevitably lose, and it's better for him to just admit defeat, so as not to lose face. What a pity that the formula of their cream was stolen. It was their best development. However, Tom's remedy, which was applied to the other hand, is next in line. Julia offers the guy to give up. She will pay 10 million for his kindness to cover the debt to Dr. Sam. Tom thanks the girl for her support, but is not going to give up. On the contrary, he is confident in his victory. The guy begins to wipe off the product applied to the girl's hand. The place where the clay was applied glows. Julia is amazed by this, and Tom expected such an outcome. The people nearby were blinded by the light. They were surprised that the guy's remedy had such a shocking effect. Tom understands perfectly well that he has won and is ready to taste it. He hugs the girl, showing everyone her glowing hand while advertising his product. The product will rid everyone who uses it of any imperfections and make them goddesses. Julia is delighted with the new product because it is even more powerful than whitening pills. The girl's assistant, who has always been skeptical of Tom and his ideas, also cannot contain her delight. The guys who accompanied Tom always knew that he would win and were sincerely happy for him. Dr. Sam is completely confused. He does not believe that a recipe that came out of nowhere can be better than one that was developed by an entire team over many days. Employees who were previously disappointed in the guy now admire him and call him a savior. Sam, realizing that he has lost, let his boss down, and is jeopardizing the release and popularity of the lightning powder, decides to inform Jacob about everything. A man sends a message to his boss saying that Tom has invented something more powerful than whitening pills. The doctor's hand in which he was holding the phone is suddenly grabbed. Sam was taken by surprise. The main character accuses the man of leaking all the information to Jacob. Julia and her assistant are completely confused. They did not expect such a betrayal from the doctor. Tom shows evidence in the form of correspondence between Sam and Jacob with the transfer of all the information. The puzzle of Dr. Sam's betrayal is finally being put together. The man in the company of Ethan and the girls of Easy Virtue laughed and discussed their plans. They were both company traders who worked for Jacob and his company. Tom solved the case, providing everyone with strong evidence. The doctor's colleagues are disappointed and very angry at the man who betrayed them. They are angry with the action of their Sam. He sold all their works. They are ready to beat the doctor for his action for the sake of space, while the man tries to repent and apologize. Dr. Sam got it very badly and he lies right at Tom's feet. The main character decides to give the doctor another chance out of the kindness of his heart. To atone for his guilt before the company, the man had to tell who was behind Jacob. Admiring Tom's kindness, Sam agrees to everything and reveals that Jacob once mentioned a man, calling him number 3. Hearing who was behind all this, the protagonist's face twisted in disgust. He realized that a group of foreigners was again involved in the incident. The guy is angry that they constantly meddle in everything, and he has to deal with everything again and again. Dr. Sam says that he said everything he knew and begs Tom to forgive and let him go. But Julia abruptly intervenes in the conversation. The girl orders to seize the man and hand him over to the police station. Two men grab the doctor by the arms to take him away and put him in prison with his brother. Sam did not expect this, because the main character promised to save him if he told everything he knew. Tom said he promised he would let him go, but he didn't mention that Julia would do the same. The doctor, realizing that he was deceived, is very angry with Tom, Julia, and company. The main character receives a message from the system that he has completed the task, and receives a reward of 666 points. Tom is happy, and says that now they can prepare well. Julia approaches Tom to thank him for helping him find the rat in the company. The girl is waiting for the guy's next instructions. The protagonist's further plans are to hold a press conference. Tom wants to make whitening the best-selling product in the world. Julia falls in love with the main character, thinking that only a man like him is worthy of her. The press conference takes place in a tall glass building, on which hangs an announcement about the event and the company's new product. Journalists are discussing the latest events. First, Jacob's company introduced their whitening pills, and now Julia and Tom's company have released a whitening product. One of the men in the audience does not understand what these two companies are playing at, to which the other replies that Jacob's whitening pills originally belonged to Julia's company. Jacob stole the recipe for whitening pills from Julia, and they had to quickly develop a new whitening clay, spending a lot of resources on advertising it. Julia, in a beautiful dress, announces that today at this press conference they are introducing their new product. The girl dares to say that their whitening clay will be a breakthrough in the beauty industry. However, a certain man, grinning, claims that it is too early for them to say such things. This man is Jacob, next to whom stands the insidious Ethan, who previously wanted to take over the company of Julia and Tom. However, Tom, Julia, and her assistant seem to have been expecting these two to appear. Journalists are already waiting for the drama to make a sensation out of this and make a lot of money. One of them has already come up with a name shocking in broad daylight. The leaders of the two main groups used women's products to fight. Julia's assistant believes that the people who came are not very good people. The girl knew that these two would create problems for them. However, the main character is full of confidence. Standing up for Julia and the man, he says that they all have absolutely nothing to fear. However, the main character is filled with hatred for what is happening. A group of foreigners sent an assassin after the guy twice, which caused him a lot of trouble. But this time he intends to fight and turn everything against them. Security quickly shoos all reporters away from the stage to prevent them from causing further problems. Jacob insists that he won't tremble at Tom and demands that the guy cancel the press conference and give them the secret recipe. Julia is very angry at the impudence of her rival, how he dares to demand such things. He had already robbed them once and did not dare repeat it again, especially so openly. Tom calms Julia down and asks Jacob what gives him so much confidence to say such things. A man with an insidious smile says that the answer is in the main character's phone, and he can look if he dares. This statement makes the guy tense, and he immediately goes to his smartphone. Jacob sent Tom a photo of Jessica and Vanessa tied up at gunpoint. This photo scares and angers the main character. He asks what Jacob did to them. The man claims that the girls are safe now, but if Tom does not give them the recipe for the product, then everything may not change for the better. Ethan, next to Jacob, states that the main character must make a decision before the end of this day. Jessica says she will call the police immediately, and her assistant curses the man because he's breaking the law. However, these two only laugh at such statements, claiming that they are not afraid of the police, and when they arrive, they will find only 2 corpses of girls. The main character expected such a trick from his enemies, but this time he underestimated their cunning. He says that a man can kill girls if he wants. Jacob didn't think that the guy would say something like that. He hoped to quickly deal with him with this statement, but the main character turned out to be not so simple. Such a ruthless statement leaves everyone in shock. They did not expect to hear such words from the main character. Jacob says these are Tom's women and he will watch them die. The main character just shrugs, claiming that he doesn't care what happens to them. Jessica didn't think that the guy would be so indifferent and now doubts that the guy can be a good match for her. Jacob accepts Tom's challenge and gives the order that these girls be killed immediately. However, suddenly the telephone conversation where the man was giving orders is interrupted. Jacob calls back to the same number and shouts into the phone for his subordinates to immediately kill those girls. But another voice answers the man, claiming that they killed all his assistants. Captain Kick and his employees immediately arrived at the place where the tied girls were, who quickly sorted everything out. Kick sends a message to Tom through Jacob that they have settled everything. Jacob did not foresee this circumstance of affairs. He does not know at all what to do now, because the man is now at a complete disadvantage. His phone plummets and shatters from all of Jacob's shock. The man's face squinted with hatred, as the main character could have predicted his plan. Tom replies that he foresaw that Jacob might do something similar and therefore asked Captain Kick to set up an ambush in advance and wait for the right moment to attack. Jessica and Vanessa had some self-defense items, which the guy exchanged for system points to protect them. Julia instantly forgives Tom, saying that she knew that he was a good person. Her assistant also admits that he was wrong. Tom claims that he didn't tell them anything, because everything had to be kept secret. Jacob realizes that he is lost and falls from an overabundance of emotions. He insults the guy. The main character declares that times have changed, and instead of waiting for an attack on himself, he decided to act in advance, anticipating all the plans of his opponents. Tom, sensing an advantage in the situation, tells the guard to close the door. The door slams sharply and loudly. People appear on the threshold and quickly go inside. A dark-skinned security guard arrived at the place along with the same formidable men like him. The man says that his weapon is already hungry. Tom, next to the military man, looms over Jacob and his follower as they plead for clemency, citing the law, and the fat man promises to give up all his shares. People who were kicked out of the press conference listen to what is happening inside the hall, suggesting that there may be a showdown there. Jacob and Ethan repent of their actions after being beaten. Tom asks for an answer, and if the man tries to lie, he will allow him to die and survive at the same time. Jacob, after all the torture, is ready to say anything just so as not to repeat everything that happened before. The main character is surprised how easily the man gave up. Is it really possible that a group of foreigners has people subordinate to them who are afraid of death? The guy sits on a chair taking a confident and relaxed pose. He asks Jacob where their boss's lair is, who his boss is, and how many they have. The man fearfully and humbly replies that the old lair is located under a mountain with tens of thousands of members inside, and the man does not know about the identity of his boss because he is very mysterious, but his codename is Zero. The system appears next to the main character, saying that everything the man said is true. The guy gets up from his chair, coming up with a new plan of action. Tom orders his subordinates to remove Jacob and his assistant, and declares that when they are ready, they will attack the main lair of the alien group. After the main character has given the order, he turns to Julia to say something to the girl. The guy tells the girl that after the man gives up his shares and they put their new product on sale, the crisis in the company will end. Jessica is very grateful to Tom for his help. He really saved the girl from such events as a crisis. The main character replies that this is what he had to do, and the girl should not thank him. Julia kisses the guy as a sign of appreciation and gratitude. Tom didn't expect the girl to kiss him and was very embarrassed. Julia explained her action by saying that she promised herself that whoever helped her with the company, she would do whatever he wanted. Tom receives a message from the system that his task is completed, and the guy is very pleased with this and Julia's kiss, and the girl runs away from him in embarrassment. Tom suggests that his charm is too strong to resist, and the system congratulates the guy on acquiring shares in the company and Julia's heart, rewarding the protagonist with 20,000 points. Tom was even more delighted when he heard about such a large number of glasses. With them, he could cure Wendy. The guy demands the system to immediately send him to the girl, and the system fulfills his demand. Several months have passed since the latest events, and the head of the central department of the alien group is watching a report on how the main character again resolved their plans by blowing up buildings. The head's assistant reports that recently their bases around the world have been attacked by Tom and his accomplices, and a group of aliens have suffered serious losses. This whole situation makes the head very angry, and he hits the table with his fist. The man orders them to leave all their affairs and direct all their efforts to searching for and neutralizing Tom for this purpose. He is even ready to release X's numbers. The girl understood the boss's order and quickly runs to report his decision to the others. However, the girl did not have time to leave the central department. Deafening sounds were heard from behind the doors, as if someone wanted to break into them. The main character bursts into the department along with his friends. They are ready to destroy this base. The hero is presented as the Avengers. The guard gets the image of a blue giant, Jessica, a white widow, Vanessa, a captain of dragons, Wendy, a goddess of lightning. Julia looks like an amazing doctor, and the main character was a titan, which matches his determination and strength. The main villain gets angry, claiming that the heroes are putting pressure on him and also almost violating copyrights. Tom gives a heroic speech, saying that the head of the organization killed innocents and therefore deserves to die. However, the villain only grins, claiming that there are 10 tons of explosives in this room. If the main character wants to be his, then they will have to die together. The man reaches for the red button to blow up this building, but the heroes are already ready to attack the man in order to destroy his insidious plans. Tom says that the villain should not waste his energy in vain, and all the traps that were set by him have already been eliminated. A group of Avengers are ready to destroy the villain, and he is already begging for forgiveness. The heroes begin to beat up the leader of the alien group for all their evil deeds. At the end of the battle, an explosion appears, and the villain says that he will return. A warm island in the middle of the blue and endless ocean welcomes the heroes, giving them peace after all the hardships. Tom enjoys the company of his beloved girls, who are also happy to be with him on this island. A little boy sat playing in the sand. He was a copy of Tom. The boy said that his parents were very lazy and did not want to play with him. Suddenly, a system window appears next to the boy, informing him that the owner has been chosen and the system is being linked to him. A system appears next to Tom's son, which says that he was chosen by the super money system. The boy, seeing that he finally had a friend in the form of a system, was very happy, because unforgettable adventures awaited them in the future.